Hello and
Oh,
welcome to Totally
totally
Booked
booked
Right
right
Now.
now.
Ah!
Oh,
The
it
we're back
we're back.
together. I
Yes,
don't know.
it's been
Nobody else
minutes
knows
since
we were gone. We went on vacation separately.
we did. Mhm. Separately, not together, but separately. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just it's good to be back. Good to see you. You see your face. It's been like 2 weeks since I've
I know.
seen your face. It's so sad.
How do
Oh
I
my
go on?
god. I don't know. Don't know how I
Yeah,
made it without you, I have to say.
same.
It was so sad. It was too sad. I can't believe it. Yes.
But never fear. Today,
We're back.
yeah, it is going to be we're continuing our summary slash I don't want to call it analysis. That makes me feel smarter than I am, but
Sure. Yeah.
of A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Is We're continuing with part 2, Cursebreaker, and we're going to cover chapters 21 through 30 in this episode.
hmm Correct. And I'm going to start us off. We're going to just jump right into it. So,
Yes.
Feyre and Cassian are going together tomorrow to see the Bone Carver. They don't want it to seem too desperate if Rhys and Feyre showed up together. So the thought is that the High Lady and her general coming won't raise his suspicions.
This was just weird to me. I was like, you both already went together once. I mean, I
hmm
know you weren't married, but
Yeah.
also the bone carver just seems like almost omniscient. So it's like he
Right.
probably already knows what's going on.
Right. He seems to know. He's in the know about a lot of
Mhm.
things. hmm
Right.
Cassian is also kind of fascinated by the prisoners and has done a lot of research on his own, so he wants to go. So he kind of volunteered himself for this trip, maybe. Feyre is going to seek out Nesta and Amren right now, though. Nesta had her first lesson with Amren. Feyre walks into a quiet, secluded workroom, and Nesta and Amren are just staring at each other, which I'm assuming probably looked comical. Um, Feyre's like, so how are things going? Both of them are still just staring at each other, and Amren says everything is swell. Can you please leave us alone? She's like, shoo, like I don't need you here. But Feyre is nosy and is like, so staring at each other is part of your training? Leave Nesta be, Feyre. Amren has her own ways to train, she says. How am I supposed to know what your methods are? For all I know, you picked up some terrible techniques in that prison. This pisses Amren off. Yeah, she learned a lot in there, but not specifically this that she's training Nesta about,
Yeah.
okay?
I was pissed off too. Like Feyre immediately jumping down their throats. I get that she's now trying to do some strategy, but also like Aaron hasn't been a prisoner for what,
A long time.
9,000 years or something, maybe.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what are you talking? Like the prison was yesterday. Okay, Thera, please stop. Also, the vibes I was getting, and it happens every time she talks about Nesta and Amren training, is like Feyre's jealous
hmm
that Nesta's getting trained and is going to be the one
Yes.
that is trying to fix the wall.
Or is like not necessarily more important, but kind of maybe more important than Feyre. And I
Right.
don't
She's a
think she's
different
taking
skill set. Yeah.
And it's like Feyre has been the fixer, right? Like
Mhm.
she helped her family survive when they were poor and they were living in their hovel, and then she had these jobs, and we talked about this I think even a little bit in the last episode, how Feyre just seems to not be super confident in her role in the night court, and I do
Yeah.
feel like Nesta coming in and now being another valuable piece to the puzzle is not great for
Right.
Feyre.
It's
It's
threatening.
like you said, it's not ever explicitly said. Feyre never thinks these things, but the vibes are definitely jealousy. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Nesta is training to learn how to shield from prying minds and powers in the Court of Nightmares. They're set to visit there while Feyre and Cassian are visiting the Bone Carver. Feyre and Rhys have discussed it, and they're not going to tell Amren that they're going to try to talk and make a bargain with the Bone Carver to help them in the war. Amren is historically testy about the prison and her once fellow prisoners, which I do get, but this seems like a bad idea to not tell her or like spring this on her eventually that they're going to try to utilize the bone carver. But what do I know?
No, I completely agree with you. I was like, "This is so stupid." And I felt like she's more testy about, like, hating the prison and not wanting to go back there versus she didn't care the last time they went. She knew you went before and everything was fine, and
Mhm,
also even if she's annoyed, she can't stop you. Like, Reese is her boss.
mhm.
So, what is the point, really?
And is it just like she doesn't if so here's my thought process behind this. If she's so secretive and doesn't want to give any details about either the other prisoners or what she learned while she was in the prison at that time,
Mhm.
um, why does it really matter if they're just go like, then this should be the opportunity for her to tell her side of the story, to, like, convince them not to
Right.
utilize, right? Like, and
Yeah.
for them to just not disclose this feels like it's gonna just backfire big
Yeah,
time
it
on them.
was I was just like, right off the bat, I'm riled, like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yes.
Like, immediately just, like, pissed off, and I that kind of continued for the next 10 chapters.
Mm,
It's like
pretty yes, yeah. Ah. So Feyre does ask Amren if she used to talk to any of her fellow inmates. Amren's like, "Ugh, no, they were all awful." Nesta is curious about this prison, though. What is it? Amren says, quote, "It is hell entombed in stone, full of creatures you should thank the mother no longer walk the earth freely." Feyre wants to know who or what else is in there. And I honestly do too. I would love a nice little info dump on the prison and who's in there, some backstory, because we don't know. And some of the
mhm.
beings, it seems like, have been there for thousands of years.
Millennia,
So,
time
yes,
immemorial. Totally.
crazy. But geez, leave Amren alone. She's busy teaching Nesta. Go ask that busybody Cassian about it. Amren tells Nesta to shield her organs. Vital organs must be shielded at all times. Like this part just made me laugh because they're having this like kind of serious conversation. And then Amren's like, bye, go away. And she goes, Nesta, we need to learn how to block and shield our vital organs. And so it's
Yeah.
like, it's just so funny to me.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, definitely she's, like, doing 2 things at once while
Mhm.
she's having this conversation. And also I was like, yeah, this is a good point. You're just bringing Nesta
Kind of up to,
and, like, unprepared to the
mhm.
Court of Nightmares, like, she's still it's her first day, basically.
Yeah.
Like, "Okay, let's go to this really scary place."
And the first time that Feyre went there, she, you know, they didn't know what her powers were and that she wasn't like as much of a threat. It sounds like it's maybe
Mhm.
known kinda who Nesta is, what happened to her, even if the details are not. Like, why would she be so like, what would be the point of them coming after her, I guess, in the Court of Nightmares? What would that
Oh,
be?
I don't
You
know.
know
I
what
would
I
just
mean? Like,
assume they're all like, "Uh-oh, a new person in the entourage. Let me
mm,
fuck around and
test.
find out."
Right, yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
I know.
At least
We'll
Feyre
see.
could shield her mind when she went the first time.
Right. Yeah. So Feyre that night has dinner with Reese and Moore is warning Reese to really think about what Kier will try to get in exchange for his army and make sure that it's really worth it. Moore is being cagey as fuck, in my opinion, and Feyre is thinking about all the awful things that Moore's family did to her. I personally think Moore gets nervous for other reasons when she goes to the Court of Nightmares.
100%. Also, when Moore is telling Reese to be careful, I was like, "Duh, isn't that bargain/negotiation rule number 1 in Prythian?" Like, tell him something he doesn't know.
Yeah, no kidding. Feyre has a terrible nightmare that night about being under the mountain again, and instead of Claire, it's Nesta hanging from the wall, and Elain is next. Feyre is frozen, stuck, and hears evil cackling from across the room. And when she looks, it's Amarantha. And Reese is forced to follow her into another room when Reese wakes her up and helps her breathe through the nightmare. She almost vomits over the side of the bed, but she's able to hold it in. She says, quote, "Never again. Never again would I let someone hurt him like that, hurt my sisters like that. Never again." Reese does not push Feyre about telling him about the nightmare, but the next morning before she leaves for the prison, he asks her if she needs to talk about it. She admits that even though it's been a while since a nightmare like that really took hold of her, she feels like it's because of their current circumstances and the looming war that is bringing up all of this for her again. It's also part of her that's slowly but surely repairing itself, though. She does tell him the dream, all the details, and it feels like it has less power over her and she can breathe better after talking about it. Yes,
Hmm.
this generally tracks. It's what a therapist would do with you. So, yeah, let's remember that just talking about things helps. Okay, Feyre.
Right? Yeah. Amazing. Who would have thought?
Oh,
Oh.
not me. Not me. Cassian shows up and kind of grumbles about Reese and Feyre's little snuggly, kissy heart to heart that they were in the middle of while Feyre was telling him about the dream. And Reese winnows them to the prison. It's apparently cold and misty at all times of year at the prison. Is it the the dust court? Oh gosh, something stuck in my throat there.
It was so weird.
Reese is heading back. That's so strange. Reese is heading back to discuss with Azriel what he found while spying in the Autumn Court and see if they need to adjust their game plan for the High Lord meeting. But lets Feyre know that the prison is warded in such a way that they won't be able to feel or use the mating bond, so don't leave each other's sight. Why would Cassian and Feyre leave each other's sight? This seems like a very silly warning to issue on Reese's
It's
part.
like you're reading my mind. I had the same thing. I was like, why the fuck would they ever not be together in the prison?
That's so weird to me. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Is it, you know, how
Just
when
like,
in movies or anything, when someone's like, be careful, and you're like, duh, you
yeah.
don't have to
Why would
tell
you
me. I'm
jinx it
going
like
into
that?
danger. So is it, yeah. So is it just one of those type of
Right.
things? I don't know. But uh,
Yeah, he's like, he just has to say it. And he's like, okay, just in case I didn't
yeah,
decide to do
just
something
don't.
weird, just gonna say it.
Yeah. Or maybe he knows Feyre's track record of not following general
Yeah.
plans and orders and
Right,
is
right, right,
like,
right.
don't try to do something crazy, like
Mhm.
wander off in the
Yeah.
prison. Cassian calls Reese a mother hen and tells him not to worry, but Reese reminds Cassian to remember who Cassian himself has put in the prison and to just be careful. Okay. It's like, again, reiterate, just be careful. Okay. Feyre and Cassian start discussing their general plans to enlist the Bone Carver, and Cassian warns that although Reese is a good schemer, his plans don't always work out the way he thinks they will. Yeah, we've seen that in action already for sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And maybe they need to be prepared to be able to control him once unleashed, not just make sure they can fulfill whatever promises or bargain they plan to make with him. In this conversation, Feyre had asked Cassian if he knew anything about the history of the island that the prison was on. Cassian tells Feyre a little bit of the lore of the island. He says, there was life here before the High Lords took Prithian. Old gods, we call them. They ruled the forests and the rivers and the mountains. Some were those things. Then the magic shifted to the High Fae, who brought the cauldron and the mother along with them. And though the old gods were still worshipped by a select few, most people forgot them. So, could the Bone Carver be one of those old gods? Legend has it yes, and that he could fell hundreds of soldiers with one breath. So basically, they better go get him to agree with no loopholes. And Feyre doesn't seem to be the best person for this job to make the arrangement, in my opinion.
Burn. Yeah, agreed.
So, Feyre wants to know, how did the Bone Carver end up in the prison? No one knows. We've talked about this, but how are there no records of this place? Has no one asked Amren, like, at any point who or what she met in there, like, ever? Like, where's the records of this place?
Right.
I don't understand it.
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't even remember like the why the wall was built, and no one's read the
Mhm.
treaty, so probably even if they had records, they'd be like, "Tra la la, not gonna look at
Oh,
those."
I know. Well, and I've been thinking about this pretty extensively because Faye lives so long. Do you think that they are
Mhm.
not the greatest record keepers of some of this type of stuff because they feel like they're always going to remember or they're always going to be around? And so record keeping is like not as good.
I don't
And
know.
because it seems like there is just so much missing information and details and
Mhm.
documentation of things that are going on in this world. It's just very
Right.
strange to me.
Or I
So
wonder too, it's like everything's just so old. Oh, it's all legends. But yeah, I guess they must not like but they have libraries and stuff.
I know, and like
You
extensive libraries.
but like let's think about like I don't know, like Lord of the Rings. Like it was
Hmm.
so hard for Gandalf to find the information about the ring. He had to like search and search and search. So maybe they're somewhere, but like they're just like somewhere in the library under the House of Winds,
Yes.
and you have to really like really want to know about it and dig and dig and dig.
And not only that, but there's probably one copy. It's not like these are mass
Right.
produced multiple,
Yeah.
copies of
Right.
the same information. So,
Maybe they just crumbled away.
right. If they're 10,000 years old,
Mhm.
maybe. I don't know. Okay. So, back on track a little bit here. Cassian tells Feyre that Amren never talks about it and has refused in the past when they've asked. So, they don't bring it up anymore. But I think this would be a good time to try to get
Right.
her to talk about it.
It's like
She
actually pertinent. Now
Mhm.
we need to know. Before I was just morbidly curious. Now there's
It's
a war.
important. Yeah.
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 We got to figure this out.
Feyre and Cassian make their way through the oppressive tunnels to the Bone Carver, and Feyre swears she can hear claws and scratching noises as they descend and wonders if this really is a good idea.
It's a little late for
Yeah,
that.
me too. Yeah. Feyre is able to open the door to the Bone Carver's cell due to her mate status with Rhys. Cassian quips that this little ability is worth the misery of having to actually be mated with him. And I was just like, oh, just picking on poor Rhys, and he's not even there to defend himself. But I love it. It's like that very like familial brother, like best friend, like banter, and like
Mhm.
he can talk
Yeah.
crap about him no matter what or when. So the Bone Carver heard them and found this funny too. And Feyre is presented with the same boy that she met on her first visit, while Cassian growls at whatever form the Bone Carver chooses for him.
It's also crazy to me that they just walk right into his cell. Like, Jodie Foster wasn't walking into Hannibal Lecter's cell. She was looking at him through that Swiss cheese
What?
plexiglass.
Right. Now, because Rhys is the key keeper of the prison as High Lord of the Night Court, is he like safer than, like a normal person would be? So now does she? Because I thought that that was part of kind of the lore of the prison, is that Rhys's job was to like be the warden of the prison, kind of
Yeah.
as so I didn't know if there was like some protection for him against, so maybe it was I agree though. I don't really understand why there's
Right.
like no protection kind of going on,
Yeah.
but
They just
yeah.
walk right in. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would assume there's some kind of like ward or spell or part of their punishment is that they don't have access to their
They're
magic.
magic. Right. And
So, still, I would assume that they're more dangerous than your average bear.
but Cassian just said that he thought that the Bone Carver was an old god. You can't tell me that you can ward against a god.
I mean, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
yeah.
It just seems crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
crazy.
Somewhat there's some holes.
Yes.
You thought there were a lot of holes in the wall. So I thought that
Feyre finally realizes the similarities between the Bone Carver's appearance and Rhys, while also picking up on similarities to herself, and believes that he's showing her their potential or future son. It freaks her out, and the Bone Carver smiles creepily at her, confirming that she's come to the correct conclusion. This is what her future could hold should their plans succeed and they win the war. The Bone Carver congratulates Feyre on her union. Creeper knows all, so him being a potential god definitely tracks. Like you said,
right.
he's
Yeah.
omnipotent. He seems to know all. Yeah, just
Right. So
yeah.
again, like, why didn't you just come with Reese? And yeah, and shouldn't part of your sentence, I guess, all being cut off from knowledge, being cut off from your magic, like how long has he been in
How
prison? And yet he still knows all the hot
still knows?
goss.
Yes. Come
Like,
on,
how is that
people.
possible?
Uh huh.
You're at the bottom of the mountain.
He's at the very bottom. I mean,
Right.
he makes the bone doors for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Feyre presents the bone carver with a shard of bone from the adder, the largest piece that was left after she had slammed it into the streets of Valaris. He tells her he can smell his sister on her. Did you steal from her? Did she weave a thread of your life into her loom? Yeah, yikes. He's totally talking about the Weaver. Yes, that is correct, everybody.
Ah!
Just adding some more weirdo vibes, the Bone Carver asked Cassian if he gave him some information, what would he get in return? Quote, this is a long one. What if I tell you the rock in the darkness and sea beyond whispered to me, Lord of Bloodshed, how they shuddered in fear on that island across the sea, how they trembled when she emerged? She took something precious. She ripped it out with her teeth. Cassian's golden brown face had drained of color, his wings tucked in tight. What did you wake that day in Hybern, Prince of Bastards? Feyre's blood went cold. What came out was not went in. A rasping laugh as the carver laid the shard of bone on the ground beside him. How lovely she is, new as a fawn and yet as ancient as the sea. How she calls to you, a queen, as my sister once was, terrible and proud, beautiful as a winter sunrise. Reese had warned me of the inmate's capacity to lie, to sell anything to get free. Nesta, the bone carver murmured. Nesta.
Ah! Nesta, she's so cool.
My God, he knows everything. And this is bringing up for some concern for what or who else knows about Nesta's otherness, specifically what she maybe took from the cauldron when she was made. Ugh, yikes.
Yeah.
Cassian is frozen. He can't seem to even be able to breathe because of whatever the bone carver is showing him.
Yeah, I was wondering if the Bone Carver was Nesta, or maybe like a corrupted, evil version of Nesta or something. I don't know. What could upset Cassian?
When we get a little okay, this is what I think. This is what I think. No. This has been brought up already in the books. So this is like my and I can't remember if this gets told later. I don't believe it is, but this is what like funny in my head reading this right now. What I thought. Do you remember that there's some big scary boogeyman that lives at the bottom of the library that Cassian is terrified of?
Yeah, you think it's that?
I think that's what the book because that's like Cassian's only fear in life is that thing.
Maybe, yeah. That's why I was trying to think is like he's not really scared of anything, but I was thinking like he would be upset if it's like a Nesta sort of related,
or
thing.
like
but yeah, I can see the boogeyman. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Feyre gets things back on track, but they still need to be super careful with their wording of things. Feyre asks if he'd basically just shut up for 2 seconds so they can get down to business. They're here to see him because they got the Book of Breathings, and Feyre says, quote, there are interesting spells inside, codes within codes within codes. Someone we know cracked most of them. She is still looking for others, spells that could send someone like her home, others like her too. I'm listening, the carver replies. Feyre tells the carver that war is upon them, and rumor has it that he can really kick some ass for a price. He can, at least. He laughs at them. You think I want to go back? Where we came from, I do not believe it is now anything more than dust drifting across a plain. There is no home to return to, none, not one that I desire. Feyre's like, shit, he's been here for maybe even tens of thousands of years, possibly well before Amren.
Right. Like that makes perfect sense, actually. Like it's been so long. I get you don't want to be in the prison, but like going back to where you came from, like 10,000 years ago on Earth was the Neolithic Revolution. It's like humans starting to become farmers and stuff. Like imagine the culture shock of going home for the bone carver. It's like, it seems unreasonable to live that long.
Yes.
Like honestly, it's like, what's the point?
And I wouldn't want to. You know what I'm like? I legitimately would not want to live that long. So Feyre wants to know if improving the bone carver's living conditions would sway him. He says, quote, this cell, Cursebreaker, is where I wish to be. Do you think I let them trap me without good reason? Bingo. He's there of his own free will. I believe 100%. Or at least he is still there. Like, he could maybe escape.
That's what he's saying. Right. And you think,
Yeah,
like, if you're so powerful, like, couldn't you just, like, hide better? You really chose to live down here in the prison?
right.
That was, like, your
Like,
best option with how powerful you I guess, I mean, he's really
yeah,
scared of his brother and sister, so
yes.
Bleh.
So Cassian's mood shifts. Feyre feels the tension coming off him like he's ready to get them out of there as fast and as soon as possible. The Carver reveals the Weaver is his twin, and the name that he calls her is Striga. Striga? Striga?
I would
Mm.
s I mean, Striga is what they call it in The Witcher, so I would
So I
just
would just,
I mean,
that's
I think
kind of
that's
what I
how
was
they
going with
pronounce
there
it,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. He has a quote here, or he's kind of giving them some background information on his brother and sister. So
Mm.
she and our older brother, Koshi, Koshe, Koshi, Koshi, how they delighted in this world when we fell into it. How these ancient fae feared and worshipped them. Had I been braver, I might have bided my time, waited for their power to fade, for that long ago fae warrior to trick Strega into diminishing her power and becoming confined to the middle. Koshi, too confined and bound by his little lake on the continent. That's important. And all before Prythian became the land was carved up and any High Lord was crowned. Cassian and I waited, not daring to interrupt him. Clever, that Fey warrior, her bloodline is long gone now, though a trace still runs through some human line.
Huh!
He smiled, perhaps a bit sadly. No one remembers her name, but I do. She would have been my salvation had I not made my choice long before she walked this earth.
Farah, this was your chance. Ask for her name. I
Name.
wonder who her descendants might be. Oh my god!
Gee, maybe
Maybe
it's
3
your mom.
douchebag sisters that got
Have
turned immortal and live in Prythian now.
and seem to, have a lot of powers once they've been made
Yeah,
Fae.
yeah.
What?
Okay, yeah.
Anywho.
If that's not the thing, I'll be pissed.
The Bone Carver is voluntarily in the prison hiding from his siblings. They are death gods and are so much stronger than him.
It seems that's like we talked about. It seems extreme. Also, isn't he also a death? I mean, I guess they're all death gods. He's
Mhm.
just the runt
A
of the
weaker, yeah, yeah.
litter, I guess.
So his sister, the Weaver, figured out how to eat life itself. It's how she stays so young and beautiful by stealing the lives of others.
I was like, she's beautiful though. But I guess if she turned Feyre into thread, her face would have stopped being so horrifying.
Yes. And I wonder too if
Yeah.
because it's like known to stay away from the Weaver of the Wood for most of the Fae, at least. Like people are
Right.
probably not going there. So even though she's still
Mhm.
constantly weaving because she has also been there then for 10,000 years,
Duh.
right? You know,
Right.
that's because remember when Feyre first encountered her, she looked beautiful from behind. It was just scary
Right.
face,
Yeah.
like
Right.
dead face. Ugh. Yeah.
I know. Maybe she's
Yeah.
what she like making thread. Maybe she has to like when she weaves it into her loom, all of her
Yes,
creepy
that's when
threads. She like regenerates.
yeah, gross.
Mhm.
Feyre is thinking that she's really going to kick Reese's ass for sending her into that cottage. Feyre asks what he is then. If his siblings are death gods, then what is he? He's asked her so many dang questions about death the last time she was there. It seems strange to her that he would be a death god and not know more about death itself. He tells her that he's forgotten what he is, and he wants it to stay that way. He does not want his brother or sister to know that he's alive and kicking. Even though their power is diminished, they still are a valid threat and have significant influence in the world. Cassian tries to argue that him not joining their cause could mean that Hybern would throw the doors open to this prison and he could be found out anyway. But the Bone Carver argues that Hybern isn't stupid. How about they find another inmate willing to help them? Feyre can't wrap her mind around him wanting to continue to live this way. The Bone Carver tells her, quote, "If you knew my brother and sister, Cursebreaker, you would find this a much wiser and more comfortable alternative." Okay, so they really should be recruiting the Weaver and Koshe. They arguably would have
Yeah.
less control over them potentially, but it sounds like they're the scarier option.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't Feyre should be like, "Actually, I do know the Weaver.
Yeah.
We're best friends," and I
Yeah.
threw a brick at her face, but, um, I also still don't understand why they want the Bone Carver and why he's their first choice, like, the way that Feyre kind of, like, laid it out for Rhys at the end of chapter, what, 20? Was like,
Mhm.
the book woke up monsters,
Mhm.
and we wanna find those monsters and get them on our side. So I thought they were going to
Right.
the Bone Carver to, like, help them recruit monsters
Like, to
maybe, or to tell them, like, "Here's where you find them." So I
mhm.
was like, "Wait, you want him to fight?" It was
Yeah,
just
like, just
weird.
yeah, and I mean, there's and what's interesting about this too is they're commenting that there's this lore around him that he can fell whole armies with a single breath, quote unquote. So
Mhm.
there's rumors that he can do that, but you don't know how or why he ended up in the prison. Like,
Yeah,
what? I don't get it,
right.
really. So
Yeah.
Cassian tugs Feyre away because they need to get to the hewn city. Ooh, that's where you're going? The bone carver asks. And it's like, why even say that in front of him? Don't you not really want ears in the prison to know like potentially what's going on? Like, and not only that, but they're talking pretty openly about what's going
Yeah,
on, like
I know.
to
They're
the
like,
bone carver.
"Don't say anything suspicious in the prison. By the way, this is our entire plan." Okay.
No. Uh, the Carver muses that they're going to try to get the backing of the rest of the night court, it sounds like. And Fair's like, yeah, what's it to you? You don't seem to want to help us, so why do you care? But the Carver laughs at them and wonders aloud what they're going to have to give Kier in order to get him to agree. Cassian is over the weird cryptic comments and tells the Carver just to say what he wants to say. Carver says, quote, my sister had a collection of mirrors in her back castle. She admired herself day and night in those mirrors, gloating over her youth and beauty. There was one mirror, the Ouroboros, she called it. It was old even when we were young, a window to the world. All could be seen. All could be told through its dark surface. Kier possesses it, an heirloom of his household. Bring it to me. That is my price. The Ouroboros, and I am yours to wield, if you can find a way to free me, he said with a hateful smile. So, Feyre doesn't agree or disagree, but then just tells the Carver that they'll see about getting the mirror for him.
Yeah. How the fuck? How old are things? They seem unreasonably old, honestly. Even
Yes.
older than her,
Her.
whatever. But um then I was like, wait, does this mean more is descended from that Fae that locked up the Weaver and the other their brother? Like how else would they have gotten the mirror? But maybe in some way she is, but if like the
Right.
human line of blood. But I was like, yeah, how could they have got you would assume that the
Mhm.
Fae that trapped them got the mirror and
Mhm.
then just has gotten
And that there's the mortal line.
right. Well,
I'm telling you, I've got this
too many
about
unknowns, I guess.
yes, yes. So I guess hopefully
Theories
we find
upon
out
theories upon
of
theories.
I know.
If this turns out to be a lost situation, do you know what
I
I'm
don't think it
saying?
right.
No, I don't think
Uh-huh.
it will. She does I mean, I think Sarah does a pretty good job of, like, tying bows on things.
Yes, it may seem confusing and vague now, but she does do a very good job of coming back and wrapping things up.
Yeah, so fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Oh, yeah. Feyre and Cassian are sitting outside the prison in the grass, and Feyre asks Cassian if he knew that the Carver was a death god, since he thought he was an old god. And Cassian says, I guessed. He carves death into bones, sees them, enjoys them. It wasn't hard to figure out. And I included this because it made me laugh. It felt kind of like a duh moment. Like Sarah J. Maas put this in here because her editor wasn't able to connect the dots on their own. So she had to have someone spell it out for everyone that he
Yeah.
was a death god, even if he's
Yeah.
claiming he doesn't remember what he is anymore. That's what he was.
Right,
Right.
right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
Because of his fascination with the prison and the prisoners, it sounds like this is why Cassian came with Feyre instead of Rhys, and to hear from the Carver himself anything that he could glean about what Nesta is. So this is the excuse as to why Rhys didn't come, but I guess. And that Cassian really does want to help Nesta. Feyre asks if Cassian would be afraid of Nesta if she was death or if that's where her power originated from. Cassian says, quote, "I'm a warrior. I've walked beside death my entire life. I would be more afraid for her to have that power, but not afraid of her. Nothing about Nesta could frighten me." And Feyre is just like, oh my gosh, I appreciate this so much. I love it. Yeah. I know.
Schmoopy. Also, yay, Nesta the new death god. I'm like Team Nesta this
Mm-hmm.
reread. I'm like, actually,
You know
fuck
what's
Feyre.
so
Nesta's my favorite.
You know what is hilarious? So like every time I'm gonna just add this in here now. Every time we've been reading the last two books, I'm like, this is hilarious. Kirsten, we're gonna get to ACOTAR and then Silver Flames, and Kirsten is gonna be singing a totally different tune about Nesta, and I freaking knew it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Nesta's my
Yeah.
jam, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Rhys arrives and is like, well, how did it go? The Bone Carver has a steep asking price, and Cassian tells Rhys his bargaining skills better be on point when they go to visit Cure. Back at the townhouse, Cassian and Asriel Rochambeau for who gets to go to the Court of Nightmares and who has to stay at the townhouse to guard the city, aka Elain, and Cassian sulks because he drew the short straw. This is just silly. Okay, it's funny. I had to add it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like,
Feyre,
ugh.
I know. They're so funny.
It's like Amren has to go to the Court of Nightmares, so
Yep.
somebody else has to babysit.
Yep. Feyre is feeling guilty about not trying to go to Elaine sooner with how sad pants she's been and with the upcoming date of her woulda, coulda, shoulda wedding. We freaking know that Elaine was supposed to get married. It gets brought up so much.
Right. Yes. And I was like, it's been like 2 days. I mean, didn't she just get back? I feel like it's been like she got
It's
back, the next day she trained, and then the
mhm.
next day they like go to the prison and do whatever. So you did visit Elaine.
Yeah.
And,
And what did it?
I don't know.
I know.
But and also Feyre is a selfish asshole, so and she's like not friends with her sisters. Like
Right.
it's like I feel like she wants to like them,
Mm-hmm.
but she just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. And so she can't force herself.
And she's got like the familial, like the blood tie, like she's going to defend her family thing. But
Mhm.
she doesn't like them. You're right. She doesn't.
Mm-mm.
She doesn't
Or
seem
know
to
them
really.
at all.
Yeah. But Feyre also wants to make sure Lucian is not crossing any lines either. Feyre winnows to the House of Wind and attempts to conjure her wings to fly down the 20 feet to the balcony and eats shit. And Feyre is very happy that no one witnessed that happening.
I was like, you haven't even tried to fly one time. What are you doing? I'm so shocked that happened. Wow.
Elaine is surprisingly sitting in the library with Nesta. Feyre tries to say hello and start some awkward small talk, but Nesta is just impatient, like, what do you want? Where's the rest of the crew? Feyre gets overly irked by this and tells Nesta that those are friends of hers and they are letting Nesta and Elaine chill rent free. So watch it.
Agreed. I was like,
Just
why are you being a bit like she just automatically I was like, that was a pretty benign comment. She
right.
wasn't actually angry.
And I feel like it was
Nesta wasn't. Sarah's just, yeah, like up, always
yeah,
ready to like jump on
yeah,
Nesta.
to be prepared for battle or something. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Feyre's like, also, are you ready for the Court of Nightmares? Nesta's like, yes, and says it super dismissively. So Feyre heads over to Elaine and asks what she's looking at out the window. Elaine starts saying some weird stuff here about how far she can see and how she can hear others' heartbeats and how she can, quote, I hear the sea, even at night, even in my dreams, the crashing sea and the screams of a bird made of fire. That's important. Feyre tries initially being like, yeah, some of these new Fae things are hard to adjust to. But that last statement really gave her pause. Like, Elaine might have a few screws loose right now. Feyre tells Elain that she has a garden at her other home in the Night Court. Will Elain come and stay there and tend it for her? Elain responds with, quote, "Will I hear the earthworms writhing through the soil or the stretching of roots? Will the bird of fire come to sit in the trees and watch me?" At this point, I had imagining that gif of that mustache guy mouthing, "What the fuck?" Because it's
But
like,
the mustache guy, you know who that is, right?
yeah, no, I don't.
It's it's Tom from Blink-182 from their it's
Oh,
like What's My Age
yeah.
Again music video.
Now
Or
it's
maybe All the Small
all,
Things. I can't remember which music video it is, but yeah. It's all coming
yeah, that
together.
it's all tracking now. I got it. I got it. Now I just think of him as the what the fuck mustache guy.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
the Yeah, that's so funny.
Feyre does not know how to respond, so she's like, Nesta, would you like to come help me look for a book?" They walk away, and Feyre first wants to know how Nesta got Elain to leave her room. But she didn't. Nesta woke up and Elain just wasn't there. Nesta hasn't been able to get her to eat either, and Elain just keeps speaking in riddles. Nesta says that she has been checking on Elain every few hours, but she was gone longer the day before because she was training with Amren, so maybe something triggered her. Feyre is trying to come up with a reason for her behavior, like maybe all of Elain's feyness is just settling. Nesta, though, asks if Elain has powers like she does. "How would we know, Nesta? You've claimed already that you don't have any powers.
I mean, we
So
know she's
what is that?"
lying.
I
Yeah.
know, I know. We know
Um,
she's lying, but it was weird that
yeah.
Nesta said it to Feyre that way. Yeah.
Right. And it seems very likely that, yes, Elaine does have powers. Why wouldn't she? You all have powers.
Hmm.
And I guess, too, when she's talking about the sea, Farrah's like, "Oh, yeah. It's the sea, little tiny Elaine." But
Hmm.
she makes a comment about how the sea is just like a sparkling little speck. But Elaine acts like she can see it really well. Like she can
Hmm.
see super far.
Hmm. Which
Um,
maybe
yeah.
it's not the sea towards Hybern that she is looking at.
I mean, it's a little on the nose. She's literally far-sighted, you stupid idiots.
Oh my goodness. So Feyre is thinking along the same lines as us, though. Nesta won't tell them anything about her supposed powers or lack thereof, and she desperately wants to know more about what exactly happened in the cauldron, but she decides that asking now, before they go to the hewn city, would be a bad idea. Baiting Nesta right now can still be achieved, though, and they start to have some back and forth. Why doesn't Nesta want to train with Cassian? Why does it have to be him? Why can't it be Asriel? Or that blonde one that won't shut up? Why do I have to train at all? Feyre's like, "Don't you want to be strong?" Nesta says, quote, "There are many types of strength beyond the ability to wield a blade and end lives. Amren told me yesterday." Which, yes, that's true. However, hand to hand combat may be necessary quite soon.
You're right. That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
too. I mean, they are excellent questions on Nesta's part. Like, everybody knows how to fight. Somebody else
Hmm.
could train Nesta. I think she's just having fun, like being mean to Cassian.
Right.
But
Hmm.
and I'm like, sure, you should probably train. You've already been captured once, and very likely something like that is going to happen again, or it might. So
Hmm.
it's probably a good idea.
Right. Fair's like, "Okay, yes, this is all great, but don't you want to kill your enemies yourself?" Nesta says, "Why should I when I can have someone else do it for me?" However, before their argument can go any farther, they hear footsteps and Lucian enters the library. He doesn't see them and he comments to Elaine that she left her room. Feyre slams a wall of air around her and Nesta to prevent him from hearing them and grips on to Nesta so that she doesn't try to intervene. Feyre decides that she wants to get into Lucian's head and see what his motives are, so she does.
This is fucked up. But also, you could have done this
Yeah.
in the Supreme Court, Feyre,
Hmm.
and she's the meddler.
Yeah.
Feyre's a
And
meddler.
yeah. So Lucian is looking at Elain and is thinking about how thin and wan she looks and is doing his best to keep his distance, no matter how much he wants to be closer to her. He came to the library to get a book. I mean, when was the last time he really was idle enough to do so? And besides his meeting with Asriel the day before, which he admits went better than he thought, and that he finds Asriel to be a decent male, Lucian is bored in this damn old windy house. He's surprised to see Elain out of her room and starts thinking about the differences between her and Jasminda. Jasminda was bold and fierce and pursued him just as much as he did her, while Elain just was kind of thrown at him. He asks her if he can have some tea and notices there's an empty cup and assumes that it was Nesta's. This was just funny to me. He keeps calling Nesta the Viper internally, like in his head. And I love that. It's so funny.
Oh, another feral animal.
Like the panther. When Elain doesn't respond, Lucian starts looking around the room and he hates that he compliments Rhys's taste and decor. And he's also a little melancholy that Feyre found the type of friends and family here that he was hoping for in the spring court. Lucian,
you can be friends with everybody too.
I know we love you. You can come be friends with me. Yeah. Lucian asks Elain if she'd like a biscuit and gives himself a mental countdown that if she doesn't respond this time within a minute, he will get up and leave her be. But Elain turns her head and Lucian's breath is taken away. He immediately feels guilty for thinking that she's the most beautiful female he's ever seen because he used to think that about Jasminda. In fact, he had previously told Jasminda that. But with the chant of mate in his head over and over, it disrupts that notion. Elain asks who he is, and he gives her his name and title as seventh son of the Autumn High Court. But he feels like he's actually useless. He's a whole lot of nothing. He gave Asriel everything he knew yesterday about his father and the Autumn Court. That information might be a few centuries out of date, but between him being an emissary and what he saw under the mountain, it doesn't seem that much has changed. Elain is looking at Lucian and repeats his name, then says that she's heard about him from Feyre's stories. And then she states, "You were at Hybern. You betrayed us." And Lucian feels so guilty and tells her everything that happened was a mistake and he's sorry. She doesn't respond to that, but tells him she can hear his heart now and when he sleeps. That might be important. She asks if he can hear her while he's sleeping too, but he tells her he cannot. She tells him, quote, "No one ever does. No one ever looked. Not really. He did. He saw me. He will not now." As she brushes her finger across her iron ring. So she's just thinking about her poor mortal betrothed that's stuck on the other side of the wall that she's never going to see again. Yeah. This hurts Lucian.
Sorry,
but what can he... I know. This really hurts Lucian, but what can he really do? She doesn't want him, need him, or love him, and that's about all the sadness that Feyre can handle. So she exits Lucian's mind, and Nesta is appalled at what she just witnessed. This made me wonder if Feyre's eyes were like fluttering or if they looked weird or something. Like, how could Nesta tell that Lucian or that Feyre was in Lucian's brain?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, what? Unless something with Nesta's abilities. I don't know. She can tell. But I don't know. It was weird. I was like, wait, what? How would why wouldn't you just think you're eavesdropping on their conversation?
Yeah.
Like normal people.
Right. And so I was thinking about this now too, because we were talking about like shields and like how do people sense if there's others in their mind and how can they get trapped in there and blah blah blah. And we were like, why didn't Feyre just go into Lucian or Tamlin's mind while she was in the spring court while she was there? And I had made the argument that I thought that their presence would have, or she would have been found out that way, they would have known. But it really seems like Lucian has not been aware any of the times that she has entered his mind. So it really makes me think that they don't know how to ward or defend if they don't have some type of intrinsic mind powers of their own.
Yeah, maybe Lucia just can't do it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, that seems crazy. We
it
do know,
does.
though, that or I mean, I guess we don't know, but, I mean, I know other people have had shields that don't have Daemati powers,
Mhm.
like Amarantha, but, I mean, maybe she's different, I don't know.
Right, like, did she have additional like, does it have to do with overall strength of your powers?
Mhm.
Like, could you have weaker and then you can't do it? Yeah, it's interesting to me, so I wanted to bring that
Yeah,
up because it's yeah.
yeah, because it seems like he does not know that she did that to him.
Mhm, yeah. Nesta asks if Feyre has ever done that to her, but Feyre insists that no, she has not. Feyre releases their air shield and makes Lucian aware of their presence. Nesta orders Lucian to leave, and he tells her he was just trying to get a book, but maybe, get Elain outside for some fresh air. Nesta doesn't like that and says to him, "We'll judge what she needs." And I mean, my God, it seems obvious to me that she needs to get out. So, like, Nesta is just so overly protective of Elain. Like, she keeps getting so mad at Feyre in all these instances about trying to talk to Elain, like when she initially got there and she wanted to like check on Elain. And Nesta's like, "No, you can't do that," all this kind of stuff. And it just seems like very odd. Like it's overprotective to a
Yeah,
whole level that I just can't really wrap my head
right,
around.
and it's
So,
not like Elaine's having, like, episodes or she gets upset and starts to freak out. She just is like a shell. So it
mhm,
seems like you can try to talk to her. It's not like she's gonna, I don't know, freak out.
right. Or like, it's just like Nesta doesn't neither Nesta or Feyre want the other one making decisions for Elaine, but they can't come to an agreement on like the best route or like ways to help her, which we're gonna find out more of
Yeah.
here shortly. So
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, and honestly, like Elaine does seem like she's losing it. Like she's not eating, she's not sleeping, she's saying
Yeah.
weird, crazy things, which
I mean,
we know why that's happening, but
yeah, the eating is
yeah.
more concerning than I guess the eating
Mhm.
and sleeping
Than anything
concerning that.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Feyre decides it's time for them to move into the townhouse with her, which Nesta shockingly does not object to. The Bat Boys come and help escort the ladies and Lucian to the townhouse. Nesta purposely avoids Cassian, and Feyre tried to fly on her own again.
Just gonna skip over that part. Well, not really, but it's weird that
Yeah.
Lucian also gets to move into the townhouse. Like, I didn't think he was included, but he's included. They're like, "Your room's down the
Right.
hall." It's like, "Wait, what? Why don't you just stay in the House of Wind?"
Especially because the House of Wind is so high up and he can't fly. So he
Right,
can't leave it and it's warded. So he can't winnow away.
right.
So is it just because they maybe Feyre finally felt bad that he would be lonely there all by himself? But I would argue they can
I
keep
don't
a
know.
better eye on him there. Yeah, I don't know. So, but we were just talking about how Feyre tried to fly again all by herself, and she soared through the air for about half a minute before her wings strained and she had to winnow to the townhouse instead of fly for fear of falling and really injuring herself. And I mean, we knew that she would suck at this, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's so
right.
ridiculous.
Again, one lesson, but I guess it's pretty good practice, you can winnow away, so it's like you might as well try.
So Asriel arrives first back at the townhouse with Elaine, and he was super gentle with her and offered to show her the garden. And I personally hated this because I don't want them to end up together. And Elaine just kind of nods and goes along with him, and she whispers beautiful to him, and it makes him blush. I'm like, bleh. Asriel deserves someone kind and gentle like Elaine is, but god damn it, not her.
Yeah.
Not her.
I know, yeah, I was thinking, the same thing, but also maybe I was like, "Well, like calls to like, and Azrael knows despair, so maybe they're just frenzies."
So does Lucian. Lucian knows
I know, and
despair.
I'm like, "Why are we
Poor
so
guy.
against
Come
Lucian being with Feyre? We know Lucian, we like Lucian.
on, we love him.
Worse stuff could
Gosh,
happen."
yes. Reese and Nesta arrive next, and Nesta is looking a little green and needs to use the bathroom. Feyre asks Rhys through the bond what happened, and he tells her that Nesta apparently said that he was going too slow, so he really sped up their flight. And I personally imagine him adding some little loop-de-loops to add some more flair to the flight as well. And now Nesta has motion sickness and is puking her guts out.
But I was like, come on, dude. Like, don't be a dick.
No. I know. I have a feeling. Well, I think the direct quote was that she said that she asked him if they could go faster than a snail's pace. So he did. So Cassian and Lucien arrive next, and they quickly jump apart from each other, which just makes me laugh. It's so silly. Lucien looks up and smells the direction that Elain went and who she was with, and he's not super happy. So naturally, Rhys, being the obvious shit stirrer that he is, sarcastically lets Lucien know not to worry because Azriel is not the ravishing type. Nesta is still puking, and Feyre's like, my cauldron, Rhys, what did you do? Nesta comes out, still a little green around the gills, but her eyes burned with anger. Feyre is thinking this internally, quote, there was no way of describing that burning, and even painting it might have failed. Her eyes remained the same blue-gray as my own, and yet molten ore was all I could think of. Quicksilver set aflame. Gee, what is the fourth book in this series called? I can't put my finger on
Oh my god. Wow. Also, it's like, of course you couldn't paint it, Feyre. You suck at painting, probably.
Yes, you and your stick figures couldn't get those flames in her eyes. No way.
Drawings.
Right. Nesta steps up like she wants to kick Rhys's ass, but Cassian warns her that the last time that he tried to throw down here at the townhouse, he got banned for a month, so she better think carefully. Of course, Cassian claims it was actually Amren's fault, but she's too scary to be banished, so he took the brunt of the punishment. Lucien is just staring at Nesta and thinks, what, or actually he says aloud, what are you? And Nesta says that, quote, I made it give me something back.
Yes, queen.
Yep, I think she totally fucked up the cauldron while she was having her bath, and I can't wait to find out what it is. I mean, I know. You don't.
I don't know.
Nesta leaves to go to her room, and Rhys gives her a half-assed I'm sorry on her way. We all know he's not. They look to Lucien and ask him if the flame that they saw in Nesta's eyes was similar to his Autumn Court powers, but Lucien says no. Quote, that ice was so cold it burned. Ice and yet fluid like flame, or flame made of ice. I think it's death, Feyre responds. I think her power is death made flesh, or whatever power the cauldron holds over such things. That's why the Carver had heard about her. Rhys thinks on this and responds that, quote, only Nesta would not just conquer death, but pillage it.
Honestly, love that for her.
Feyre thinks about that although it was only seconds that her sisters were in the cauldron, she wonders what it felt like for them in there. Everyone is getting ready to leave for the hewn city when Feyre looks out her window and sees Azriel hanging out with Elain in the garden. She wonders aloud why they're not mates, because they shouldn't be, Feyre. God damn it.
Yeah. And I'm like, why does anybody have to be her mate? And why do you hate Lucien so much for her? Maybe Lucien would be good for Elain.
Right. Yeah. Maybe he would be. You arguably know him better than I think you know Azriel.
Right.
So why is all this hate around him for her?
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
I don't get it.
I agree.
So Rhys is like, don't bring that up to Lucien, but really who and what decides these things? Feyre wants to know. This brings about a very important discussion. Feyre comments that Rhys has admitted that his parents weren't a great match despite the mating bond, and Tamlin had mentioned something similar about his parents. Can the bond be rejected? What happens if Lucien still wants the bond and Elain never does? Rhys explains there's still choice, and while the bond sometimes picks poorly, he says that the bond is maybe nothing more than some preordained guesswork at who will provide the strongest offspring. Maybe at its base level, that's what it is, as more of a natural function for their species, not a true pairing of souls. However, no matter what, there will always be a tug. Females tend to be able to ignore it more easily, but the males can be driven mad by it. Does that surprise anybody? No. It can even drive them to challenge another male to fight to the death if they're a male chosen by the female. So, like, if the female leaves and decides to pick somebody else, apparently they can want to duel to the death for her. But don't worry, those practices are barbaric, and we in the Night Court don't allow that anymore. All this being said, even if the bond is rejected, it will still be a bond, no matter how weakened, and that will trail her for the rest of her existence.
It seems like the mating bond needs a rebrand.
Yeah,
It's like,
right. It just, and like he's making it sound like, so Tamlin like made it sound romantic, like the mating bond is this very
right.
special kind of union, and Rhys admits that it is a special and important thing to the Fae, but he's also explaining that like maybe originally the mating bond was just to help create the best offspring.
Yeah,
Like
that would make
it was
sense.
a natural, right? 100%.
Yeah.
So Feyre pisses me off here and wants to know what Rhys thinks about Elain and Lucien as a match. And he's like, I don't know either of them as well as you do, but I can tell that Lucien is loyal. And Feyre is like, yeah, so is Azriel. And Rhys says that Azriel has been hung up on the same female for 500 years. But has he?
I don't believe that.
And Feyre makes a good point here that surely the mating bond would have made itself known by now if Azriel and Mor were mates. And Rhys says that he's pretty sure that Azriel has been asking himself the same questions since the day he met Mor. So please drop it. Let them figure it out on their own, Feyre darling. Feyre finishes getting ready and asks Rhys down the bond because she's afraid to say it out loud if going into Lucien's mind was a violation. I feel like this is an obvious yes answer. We kind of already, like this seems like a major violation actually. But like I'm kind of interested to see how she feels about it without Rhys's like interpretation. She obviously seems to be questioning whether this was a good thing or what the moral compass of this action was to Rhys. But it's like she's seeking permission because he's also Daemati. Like, you know what I mean? She's kind of like,
right.
So like I kind of felt yucky about that, but it's okay, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And he has a lot more experience doing that. But I was also like, she just told Rhys too. When he basically tells her to drop it about Mor and Azriel, she goes, I would never meddle in someone's affairs unless they're my sisters or somebody that I decided I should meddle in. Yeah, this whole conversation that's about to happen, I just like simply could not. I was like, this, yeah, it's a little insidious.
Yeah. So Rhys kind of agrees with us and he kind of asks her, he's like, why did you go in Lucien's mind? She said that she wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to try and bolt off with Elain, but she sensed no ill will from him. And because of that, she's conflicted on if she should have done it at all. Rhys tells her that that's always a complication. It truly never gets easier, no matter what your intentions for finding out the information is. He tells her if she's feeling so conflicted, now she knows what Lucien's intentions really are and to promise herself just to not go there again. She wants to know if Rhys would have done the same. He tells her that he would have, and he would have felt just as guilty about it. But Lucien did cross the line first by coming up and talking to Elain, so he kind of also feels like Feyre was somewhat justified in her decision, which, yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about morally fraught. This was crazy to me. I was like, so basically, anything is okay as long as it's for someone you love or like I don't know, you have, this important reason. And Rhys is like, just don't make the same mistake. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
fucking right. Feyre 100% will do this again the second she decides she needs to protect someone or something, or like, oh, there's a war about to happen. You're gonna be in situations where, quote, things are
Mhm.
dire. Um, and she never express like, I don't know, I guess that's never been expressed that anyone thinks Lucian's gonna take Elain and like leave with her, because Lucian's kind of in a
Mhm.
bad spot. He can't really go anywhere. He left the spring court. It's like he
That's
can't, So I think that's just a complete
that's
and
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. To quote Sarah Maas, it's a complete and utter just like bullshit excuse. And I also don't think Rhys would feel guilty like he claims. I don't think he gives a fuck when he goes into people's minds. And
Mm.
because I'm also like, you act
Yeah.
the way that Rhys has acted for the last 500 years, and the bite goes away a little bit. It probably made him feel
Mhm.
guilty when he started doing it at the beginning, but now it's like, how many times has he done it? You're just kind of like, well, I always get away with it, and it's always for a good reason. If you convince yourself your intentions are pure, you can do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it what is just so strange in this whole conversation to me, too, is just, like, kind of like what you brought up. If we're doing it because it's helping someone we love, it's okay, regardless of the moral implications of what we're actually doing,
Mm-hmm.
versus, like, actually stopping and being like, "This is a major violation." Like, how would you feel if the roles were reversed? So, yeah.
Right. 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 Um. Yeah. For the greater good, just like Dumbledore says.
Mhm.
And and then when Risa goes, he's like, to make yourself feel better. Lucian did technically violate the rules we set because he went into the place where he's not supposed to go. He ran into Elaine. He goes, so you were entitled to look into his mind, if only to ensure the safety of your sister. And Feyre's like, phew, thank you for saying that. I feel better. And I was like, or
Thanks
you could
for
have,
validating me. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, or you could have run out there with Nesta and interrupted them and actually ensured Elaine's safety.
Yeah, it's like you sat back and waited and violated him instead of just,
Yeah.
like, physically going and stopping him
Hmm.
or, like, confronting him. It's
Right.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
So,
whoa.
anyway, they're ready to head out, and Feyre is looking her court of nightmares best, which brings back some saucy memories of their last romp together there. And Feyre requests this time to make Kier beg. In our last episode, we discussed this a bit. I didn't think Amren was a known entity of the inner circle, but they all go to the court of nightmares together right now, and she shows up there with them. So it's known that she's part of the inner circle and that she does indeed go there sometimes. So just wanted to throw out my mistake from the last episode, everybody. So Nesta is looking brutal and badass, not as revealing as Feyre, not as relaxed as Amren usually chooses to be, but a fierce black gown. And her ability to look down her nose at others really comes in handy here.
Yeah, Feyre's like, Nesta didn't balk. And I was like, of course she fucking didn't. She's not a punk ass bitch. It's fucking Nesta, Queen of Death, or whatever.
Damn, she's not afraid nobody.
Mm-mm.
They're approaching the throne when it's noticed that there's only one seat. So Rhys leads Feyre up to it and lets her sit in the seat while he casually perches on the armrest. He looks out at his subjects and orders them to bow to Feyre. Rhys announces that this must be an oversight since there was such short notice of their arrival, so he won't flay them all for not having two throne seats available as a mating present from him to them. Feyre makes a mocking comment about allowing their subjects to stand, and Rhys tells them all that they may rise. As they do, Feyre can feel some tendrils of power sneaking up the steps to the dais, and she slams invisible taloned claws onto those three tendrils and holds them there. She looks around and asks if anyone would like those tendrils back. And at first, when I was like reading this scene, I was like, gosh, is like the Court of Nightmares, like, do they just make it seem like this like horrible, depraved place and like Rhys has to act this part? And then it's like literally 2 seconds after like Rhys tells them they can stand up, there are tendrils of power like trying to go up
Yeah,
and get her. And I'm like, oh,
that's
maybe
a
they
good
do
point.
all really suck a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So There's some gasps through the crowd, and Kier is looking over his shoulder and scowling at someone whimpering in the back. Feyre eventually releases her hold, and 3 people react to her releasing her grip. One of them winnows immediately away. The second one faints, and the third stands there trembling and holding on to the person next to them. And Feyre takes note of all of their faces.
Yeah, I mean, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, I guess. Also, why is everyone in the Court of Nightmare so dumb? Who would
Yeah.
try her like that? And then completely freaking out afterwards, like when the challenge is met. Don't be scared of
Mhm.
that. You asked for
Like, I
this.
thought yeah, and I thought they were supposed to be brutal and
Mhm.
brave and cunning. Like, why would you show your cards so quickly that
Yeah.
that uh, I and Reese is right there. Like,
Right.
if he found out you were he can squish minds for
Yeah.
sure. Like, what are you doing? I don't get it.
Crazy. And yeah, even like with the Kier in the last book when he called Feyre a whore or whatever, and then he got
Yeah,
his arm all broken. It's like, why would you do that?
I know. It's not doesn't make sense. Amren and Nesta approach and ask to be dismissed, and Feyre notes that the look on Nesta's face, while still guarded, looks shooketh at what Feyre just did. They head off to go practice some work on magical objects, and Feyre has a flash of guilt that they still haven't told Amren about the Bone Carver. Reese tells Kier that they need to meet him in the council room, and Feyre takes note of the subservient female to Kier's side, which must be Moore's mother. And she makes a comment here about just how Moore looks so much like her mother, and like this role, the subservient, quiet, behind the scenes female was the role that her dad was trying to force her into as well.
Hmm.
And Feyre also notices Asriel keeping a glaring eye on Moore's parents as well. Reese and Feyre each take opposing heads of a large table in the conference room, with Az and Moore on one side and Kier on the other with an open seat next to him. Kier cuts to the chase. He knows Hybern is gearing up for war, just like Reese is getting his Illyrians ready. Reese is here to ask for aid from Kier's Darkbringer Legion. Kier, though, says that he feels sympathetic to Hybern's cause. He understands their wish to no longer be trapped or stagnant, but Moore argues that they've been free to do whatever they've wanted in the Hewn City for centuries. Have they been free, though?
Yeah. It's such a weird situation. I
Yeah.
was like, are they not allowed to leave the mountain?
I think I may make note of this like later in this, but I kind of said the same thing. Are they never allowed to leave? Or, like, do they not travel to other places or
Like,
other areas? There's got to be more than one city.
yeah,
In
I don't
like
know.
that may be the seat of power is considered the Court of Nightmares, right? Like every
Hmm.
court seems to have like you know a
Right.
base.
Yeah,
So,
like the
but
Spring Court Manor,
yes,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but then also like so they just never leave there. They just
I
stay under
know.
that mountain all the time. I don't get it. So.
Right.
ah, Kier comments that that dang palace is atop their mountain, so they don't even really have the whole thing. Reese cuts in that, technically speaking, it's all his, but sure, Kier can look at it that way if he wants to. And the palace upstairs, he can have it. It doesn't mean anything to Reese. Kier senses blood in the water. Reese must really be desperate. Are your Illyrians not up to snuff anymore? Asriel says that he should come train with them and find out, while Kier just sneers at him. Reese tells Kier that if he knew most likely why they were meeting, just name his price already. Kier leers at Feyre, and this is beyond gross and disturbing. Says, quote, "What would you give me for a shot at this war? You hoard yourself to Amarantha, but what about your mate? Like, fuck you, Kier. Like, this
Yeah,
is gross." Yeah.
legit crazy talk. Like,
Yeah.
what?
And Feyre is having the realization that this is in direct retaliation for them embarrassing him a few months ago when they
Mhm.
broke his arm in front of the whole court.
Right. She's like, he had not forgotten how we treated him. Yeah, so weird. He didn't forget that.
And that Reese forced him not to use magic to
Yeah,
heal himself.
huh.
Yeah,
I
I
wonder why
wouldn't
he.
forget that.
Yeah, I want to get back at you. What?
I mean, they're immortal, They may have, 50 years may feel like a blink, but this was just months ago. It probably felt like it just happened
Mhm.
yesterday to them, right? So
Seriously, my God.
Rhys says to Kier, the bargain our ancestors struck grants you the right to choose how and when your army assists my own, but it does not grant you the right to keep your life, Kier, when I grow tired of your existence. And some invisible claws gouge marks into the table in front of Kier. Kier visibly gulps, and Rhys says that he thought Kier would be hesitant to help, so he orders for quote unquote him to be brought in. Moore goes pale, and Azriel appears focused and prepared to defend them, but he is ultimately unsurprised as Eris comes into the room.
So that's who the empty seat was for. Feyre sees hurt and betrayal flashing on Moore's face. And I was like, are we sure that's all?
Hmm.
Also, what the fuck, Reese? You couldn't warn Moore ahead of time? Feyre also
Right.
didn't know this was happening, which I expected her to be more upset about the fact that she was also kept in the dark, but she's not upset at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe it's because of that lesson in ethics Reese just gave her. She's like, well, he had to.
He had
It's
to
for
do
the,
it.
he had a good reason.
I know. And it's like the one side that I can see is like, oh, well, maybe Reese didn't want more to push back or maybe be more stressed to go into this meeting because he already made the decision to involve Eris.
Yeah,
It's like, was he worried about Moore not coming to the meeting at all if she knew he was going to be like, I just don't really,
right. There's
I don't
absolutely
agree with
no,
it. Yeah.
reason. And even if she didn't come to the meeting, like, I mean, why is she even there right now? She's
Hmm.
literally, she does nothing. She's just
Yeah.
sitting in the seat.
Yep.
She didn't talk when they walked in. She's
Nope.
now just in the room.
Hmm.
She doesn't do anything.
Nope. It's like just an advisory capacity, but she's not doing any advising, just getting
Ye-
upset about, yeah.
Yeah, getting blindsided.
Yeah.
So Feyre asks Rhys down the bond what Eris is doing here. And Rhys replies that Eris is making sure Kier agrees to help. Rhys, he's being tight-lipped, even down the bond. He doesn't really explain to Feyre. But apparently, Kier has wanted to build ties with the Autumn, or ties to Autumn, and Eris is offering a formal alliance. But that's not good enough. Kier wants freedom and space. He wants access to Valaris. Ugh. Hybern's the worst, ruining the secret of Valaris. Also, I don't trust Kier at all, but it does have to really suck living exclusively under a mountain. And
Hmm.
especially to know there's like an oasis of, culture and blah 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 just up the street.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of weird that not even the entire night court is allowed into
Right.
Valaris. Like you'd think all of the night court would know about the secret,
Hmm.
and like Valaris would be a secret from the rest of Prithian, but like all of the night court would know about it. And I still, yeah, it's just strange.
Yeah, and this is where I mentioned this actually when we were just talking about because I was like, do they
Yeah,
never leave? Like ever? How does that work?
yeah.
Um and then I do remember from when Reese was telling Feyre about Valaris and the history of it, like originally all of the Night Court was like the Court of Nightmares. And one of Reese's great
Mm,
great great ancestors had wanted to kind of rebuild and redefine, but he didn't. So he set up Valaris for the dreamers, right? So the
okay,
people
yeah.
who like I understand like why historically the two were separated, but like why don't they have the option or what has ever and was it just part of the bargain? Like Reese's ancestors was like, actually, we'll let you just run the Hewn City however you freaking want. Just don't
Hmm.
leave, kind of thing. Like you can rule yourselves and be horrible, terrible monsters and just do whatever you want to each other under
Right.
here, but kind of leave everyone else alone. I can't, it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
And when you say it like that, too, it seems like it should be almost the opposite, right? Like you're in
Hmm.
Valaris, you don't leave, you stay there. That's the safe place. And all of the
Hmm.
night court is like the Court of Nightmares vibe
Right.
everywhere
Hmm.
else.
Hmm.
But it's the
Kind of
opposite.
the opposite. It's odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was originally like that, but then through over time and
Yeah.
some progressive leaders like Reese,
Right.
things
I
have
mean,
gotten better. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it
don't know.
seems like though too the majority of the court of or the night court. I mean, it's only Valaris is like that, so maybe
Right.
the rest of the night court and the Illyrians suck.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
So, needless to say, Moore is adamantly against Kier having access to Valaris. Feyre agrees. She thinks the thought of these people, of Kier and Valaris, tainting it with their presence, their hatred and small mindedness, their disdain and cruelty. But you can still enforce rules in the city, punish them if they do bad stuff. Like, what if maybe they don't want to be evil? Maybe they want to live there and have a nice life.
That's what I thought too. I was like, what are they, just a bunch of like inbred psychos or something that have never left? Like, I don't get it. Do they also just feel so entitled to anything and everything that they would destroy something that they're finally getting access to? Like, just make it make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah.
So Reese tells Kier there would be conditions. So limited stays, limited numbers allowed in, day passes only, no unrestricted access, no moving to Valaris. Kind of what's the point then?
Mm-hmm.
Azriel tries to comfort Moore by placing a hand on hers. She snatches it away, which makes Eris smirk. I mean, I get, why would you, Azriel, don't touch her, okay? You just did something bad.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, basically this is Kier's condition, simply to hurt Moore. After the Hybern attack and learning about Valaris, Kier has deduced how important Valaris is to Moore, and he wants to defile it. Kier doesn't really care about getting out from under the mountain. It's just another classic impotent rage moment. Everyone's mad. We're mad. There's nothing to be done. You just feel
Mm-hmm.
helpless.
Mm-hmm.
Kier agrees to the terms, and Feyre's like, whoa, not so fast. There's one more thing I need. The Ouroboros mirror. Immediately, Garcon? Jesus, Feyre, take me to dinner first. You can ease him into it. Kier's like, sure, take it if you dare. Dun dun dun.
I know, like, I'm imagining like some evil villain just cackling.
It's like,
In the background
yeah, like
or
lightning
something.
strikes thunder. He's cracking up. Turns out to take or claim the Ouroboros, you first have to look into it. And everyone who has attempted to do that has either gone mad or been broken beyond repair. Well, it's just great.
Well, that's why the Weaver is cuckoo,
Yeah, potentially.
because she looked in
Uh,
that mirror all the time, maybe.
right. It was her favorite
Yeah.
mirror.
Yeah.
Kier leaves. He's like, see you later. And now it's just Eris left with the group. And Eris tells Moore she looks well. Azriel doesn't like that. As Eris says, Azriel is still holding a grudge all these years later. Reese reminds Eris keep his mouth shut. But hey, Eris is good at keeping secrets. How many secrets?
Right? Oh, I want to know. Tell me more about these secrets.
Yeah, tell us, Eris. Yeah, unclear, but Kimmy and I have our suspicions. Also, Eris's dad has no idea he left tonight, so hey, that's like one check in his, like on his side or whatever. Feyre wants to know how this all came about. Same, Feyre, same. Eris basically saw the writing on the wall. He knew Azriel would come sniffing around to see what Baron knew, especially after Eris's two brothers that were with him trying to get Feyre and Lucien forgot about Feyre's powers. So Eris knows a thing or two about Daemati. He just forgot to teach his brothers about them. Whoopsie. Feyre's like, oh my god, Reese erased their memories for me. That is so sweet. And I was like, I actually can't with how morally hypocritical they are. Like, I get it. It's affecting you. It's different, but you don't have one flicker of like, ooh, this is awkward. We literally just had a conversation about the moral implications of entering someone's mind. And in this instance, Reese actually altered their memories. Like, but whatever. It was for someone he loved. And the object of that love is like, that was so nice of you.
So weird. And because I really do like the mind infiltration is kind of creepy on its own right. But then to go in and alter people's memories is like, that's really yikes. And what's interesting is I was thinking about this too when I was typing this in there, because I don't know how to feel, but like if you remember from the last book, Reese altered those rapey fairies' minds from Cal and Mai when he took them back to Under the Mountain with him. So
yeah. And I mean, we didn't care about that because we were, falling in love with Reese, honeymoon period. And it was, and they were evil, right? They were going to hurt Feyre and kill her.
Yes.
They deserved it. And I mean,
Yes.
so that's his reasoning behind this too. And
For
why
now
Feyre,
too, yes.
right, is like,
Yeah.
hey, my God, you saved me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel great.
No, it does not.
But yeah, it turns out Eris wasn't going to waste valuable information about Feyre's powers on his dad. Also, it's funny to me that Eris is like, I literally don't care that you did that to my brothers.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care at
Whatever.
all.
No.
He's like, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Baron's response to finding out about Feyre's powers would just have been to hunt Feyre down and kill her. But Hybern's a problem, and Feyre may be able to actually stop said problem. So killing her, not prudent at this juncture. Baron plans to join Rhys and Co., but not if he learns, quote, about your little secret. So yeah, I feel like it's been established at this point. Eris can keep secrets. Moore seems to be gathering her composure, and while still hurt, she's like starting to understand the situation here. But she does have to get a jab in. She says, "What's the asking price, Eris? Another little bride for you to torture?" And I just want to, were there other brides Eris was mean to, or just Moore? I'm assuming she's just talking about herself, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, and I was going to bring this up a little bit later too, but I have some serious questions on what Eris actually did to her and
I was like, did he actually
her.
torture her? Yeah.
So I I thought originally when I read these books that she slept with Cassian. Her dad found out about it, stabbed her and nailed a note in her stomach to her and dropped her off on the Autumn Court border and said, she's your problem now, right? Isn't this how the
Right.
story happened?
That's what I thought.
And then Eris just quote unquote did nothing, and Azrael came and found her a few days later. So what part of that was torture? I mean, he left her there, right? Okay.
Right.
But
yeah,
you know what? Anyway, so
right.
continue.
These stories aren't adding up.
Especially Moore's. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and Eris, he's like, I don't know who fed you those lies. Maybe your little friends. Pointed look at Azrael. Moore's not having it, though. Eris left Moore in the woods. But Eris says there were other forces at work that Moore never considered, and he's not going to explain himself. Moore can believe what she wants about him. Feyre jumps in, reminding Eris that he hunt Feyre down like an animal, so she's going to believe the worst. Hey, Eris was just following orders, and he was sent to do it with two of his ... brothers. There is like the ellipses pause before he says that. I'm like, what is that implying? He doesn't like, I mean, I guess we know he doesn't like his brothers. He didn't care that their memories got erased. He doesn't agree with them. He has to put on a charade because he had witnesses. Tell me now.
I just, yes, and yes.
Yeah, and I was...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it too, about them trying to get through the Autumn Court and leaving. When I was like revisiting that scene, I was like, it seems like he was purposefully letting them get as far away as they could. Like, it's almost like he didn't capture them. He was like letting them get rescued. Like, it took them forever to find them. I mean, sure, they got trapped in the cave or whatever, but like the fact that he didn't winnow away with her, or he didn't
like he grabbed her and started to drag her away instead of winnow.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, it seems a little sus. Like you weren't really trying to capture them. So Feyre keeps pushing. She accuses Eris of helping execute Jasminda, but actually Eris wasn't involved in that. Thank you very much. Eris refused to be a part of that and was punished by his father. By the time he got free, Lucien was about to be killed too. And Eris is the one who anonymously sent word to Tamlin and helped Lucien get to the Spring Court border. Do I love Eris? I was like, I want to believe him. I am inclined to do so for whatever reason. He's like Rhys 2.0. Like we're primed to this,
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Eris isn't totally a bad guy, but he is in a bad situation with his dad. And just as a little ponderance here, who else in this series does everyone think is a horrible monster but actually is not?
Yeah, except some things that happened a few chapters
recently.
ago. I'm like, maybe he is a horrible monster. But yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, we've done this pony show before.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Feyre seems to believe Eris a little bit too, although she doesn't think it entirely erases what he's done. It's okay. But enough of this chit chat. What's in it for Eris? He says when the time comes, they have to support Eris's bid to the Autumn Court throne. And it could come sooner if Rhys would just kill Baron and be done with it. Eris can pledge the troops right now, but as always, it comes down to paperwork. Does cause a lot of problems. Plus, Baron sided with them in the war 500 years ago. Maybe he will again. Eris is confident that Baron will, and he will also remain ignorant of Feyre's gifts. You're welcome. As Eris is leaving, he tells Mor he's surprised she can't control her emotions better around Keir. Everything was written right on her face, which, same. I 100% agree. Thank you for saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I just have to read this part because what does Eris know? Quote, Eris looked between them, smiling faintly, secretly. He's looking between Azriel and Mor, as if he knew something that Azriel didn't. I wouldn't have touched you, he said to Mor, who blanched again, but when you fucked that other bastard, I knew why you did it. Again, that secret smile that had Mor shrinking. Shrinking. So I gave you your freedom, ending the betrothal in no uncertain terms. And what happened next? Azriel growled. A shadow crossed Eris's face. There are few things I regret. That is one of them. But perhaps one day, now that we are allies, I shall tell you why. What it cost me. Tell me right now.
Okay. So I already kind of alluded to this because I said I don't think that I don't think that he actually did anything to Mor. I think that Azriel came and found Mor on the edge of the border, not because Eris had sent word to Mor's family that he left her there. I think that he actually sent word to Azriel that Mor was there. And I think that Eris didn't know what to do because I have some theories about what Mor actually is and why that scene was maybe so disturbing and why Azriel was so why he keeps such a close eye on her still throughout. So in Throne of Glass, one of the witch covens have blue blood. There is some very popular theories that are out there in the SJM universe that think that Mor is a descendant of one of the Iron Witches that have blue blood, and that it comes from like what a lot of her powers stem from, and also a lot of like why her family has all of this shit that is descendant and from old. I mean, they've got the Aurora Boros mirror. They've got the Veritas, like all of these things. They have all these really important magical artifacts. So I don't know if I fully believe that, but it is interesting to me that there are no witches in this world that we are aware of. And they are very dominant in the other Sarah J. Maas series. So I personally think that something is going to come up with that in the next books.
Fascinating. And that's all connected, just like Marvel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Something is sus. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mor is like, that's nice. Don't care. And Eris is like, bye. See you at the meeting in 12 days. So then Feyre does not go for the Ouroboros. I don't know how to say that. We're just both going to say it differently, I guess, the whole way. It's one of those things, you know, snake eating itself. Ouroboros. Okay, she's not going to go for the mirror at this time, and the whole crew winnows back to the townhouse. Mor immediately turns on Rhys, demanding to know why he did that. Rhys is just like, Eris found Azriel. We had no choice. Sorry. But you 100% had a choice to fill people in on your plans.
Exactly. There's no reason that you couldn't have given her the heads up that he was coming. Also, I know Azriel appeared very unscathed in general after his Eris run-in. So tell me more about that, please and thank you.
Some pillow talk to come to this. I could get on board with that mating situation.
Oh,
um,
that's my number one wish in all of the lands, but I don't know if I'm gonna be. I don't think that's gonna happen,
yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Moore also turns on Azriel because he didn't say anything either. Azriel's reasoning is Moore would have tried to stop it, and Kyr's alliance was too important. And we kind of talked about this
Yeah.
already, but it's like, what authority does Moore really have? She wouldn't have been able to stop anything, would she? Like, maybe
Mhm.
sabotage, but she's not unreasonable, and Rhys is in charge. He makes the rules or whatever. And also, I just can't get over too that Feyre's not upset about this at all. She's perfectly fine with it,
Right.
totally supportive of Rhys, it feels like. But how can you be okay with Moore being completely kept in the dark when you hate being kept in the dark? You were also kept in the dark. She had no idea that was gonna happen. And they're lying to Amren too. It's like shit's just crazy.
And I was just thinking about this too. So Feyre just absolutely lashed into Rhys 6 chapters ago about calling Nesta a feral animal. So you're not upset about him kind of betraying Moore's trust in this scenario at all. You're
Right.
just cool with it. But then, he calls your sister a feral animal, and
He
it's
didn't even call
absolutely
her a
lose your mind.
feral
I know.
animal. He just said, ah, ha, ha, I don't think Valaris is ready for Nesta.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's like weird. Is like, at first I was like, oh, is like the mating bond between them like trumping her friend card? Like, is she putting more value into that? And so she's just not being as critical of him with this kind of stuff, or she's like deferring to him on how to make these decisions because he works with them better. But
Yeah. It
yeah.
reminds me of a situation of like, you would be mad at someone about something, but if somebody else either gets mad at them first or is more mad at them than you would be, you immediately start defending that person. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
you've been with your kids all day,
Hmm.
they're pissing you off, and then your husband gets home and he starts being mean to them, and you're like, "Excuse me, sir?
Yeah. Right.
Don't talk to my children that way, actually." So, like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it feels like to me, where she's like, "Don't be mean to Reese. How
Yeah.
could you be upset with him?" Even though if, like, I don't know. It's just, like, so weird. Um but I don't love this. So Cassian and Lucian are catching up with what happened. Cassian's pissed. He's comforting Moore some, and Lucian says, Eris is a snake. And Moore's like, shut up. This isn't even about Eris. It's about Valaris. She's convinced Kyr is going to destroy it. But don't worry, Moore. Rhys took precautions. Sure, Rhys, give it to us. Make me feel
Hmm.
better. Rhys met with the governors of the palaces and has gotten them to agree never to serve, shelter, or entertain Kyr or anyone from the Court of Nightmares. Word's been going out to every restaurant, shop, and venue. This seems so dumb. It's like, so now they will retaliate out of spite. Like, it's like, oh, sure, come to Valaris, but you can't have fun here.
Hmm.
Also, can't you just make the condition like they can visit Valaris when the war is won and just like deal with it later?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, why not just give them that promise for after? And then, exactly like what you said, they're just going to retaliate. So, if you allow them into the city before the war starts and you don't
Mhm.
give them access to things, then they're not going to
Right.
work for, or, they're not going to fight for you. So, this seems
Yeah.
not the smartest.
Right. And it's like, I don't know, just so dumb. Like, yeah, sure. Here are
Yeah.
the conditions, but we're going to, I guess
Right.
that also tracks with how the world works
Hmm.
sometimes, though.
Right.
um, So yeah, this doesn't really make anything better. And Cassian's like, whatever, you still should have warned us. And Moore takes it up a notch. And she's like, if Amarantha was alive and I offered to work for her, how would that make you feel? And everyone's like, and Feyre goes to stand by Rhys. And it's, again, kind of pissed me off how absolutely on Rhysand's side Feyre is right now. Like, also, she was
Hmm.
talking about how Rhys needed to be careful and how asking Kyr's allegiance would really hurt more. And like maybe they shouldn't even ask
Hmm.
him for the Darkbringer
Right.
Legion.
The Legion.
And
Yeah.
then Rhys did it in the most despicable way possible. Like the way that would hurt more the most. And Feyre has zero thoughts about that.
Yeah. She's just like standing by and she's
What?
like, well, Reese, I support you. And
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that she just is not jumping to Moore's defense at least a little bit. That's the only
Right.
like, even just a smidge is just that's not really
Yeah.
in her character. It's odd.
Yeah, 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 and it's not like, sure, all the results would have been the same. It's just like, everybody, why aren't you all on the same side? You're going into this meeting together, and I don't wanna quote Tamlin, but, like,
Mhm.
"United
Yeah.
front, people."
Mhm. Yeah.
Anywho, okay, so as I said, I was riled. I was riled this whole section.
Yeah.
Reese is like,
I know. I know.
yeah. Reese is like, if Amarantha offered us a shot at survival, at keeping all of you alive, I would thank the cauldron. Who cares if she raped me for 50 years? Also, are we comparing apples to oranges here? Is this a true comparison?
I know. And like, I think that for more to compare Amarantha to Eris is not totally fair, especially if she is refusing to divulge what actually happened with him. Like,
Yeah.
Reese, like, everyone knows what happened to Reese. And so if I was staying there, I'd be like, listen, I understand that you're upset and that you feel betrayed. Can you delve into a little bit deeper, like what actually happened with Eris so we
I
can
know.
understand like why you're so vehemently against this? And like, it sounds like Asriel and Cassian at least are very much just like they are aware of him
Mhm.
just kind of dumping her on the border. So they're going to, and they take her side in that and everything. But there's also like a lot of mystery around it. So
Right. And it seems like her dad, like, maybe she was also talking about Kier in this situation, or comparing Amarantha's
sure,
treatment
sure.
to Kier, because, like, she was actually tortured by her family
But
and
yes.
dropped
Yeah.
there. Also, but yeah, and then I'm just like, I mean, I know you can't compare traumas. I'm like,
Hmm.
but like,
Hmm.
Reese was Amarantha's sex slave or whatever for 50
Hmm.
years,
Hmm.
like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And Moore was tortured. That is horrible. But like,
Hmm.
for a day, a week, whatever,
Hmm.
and dropped, and 500 years ago.
Hmm. Say
I
one
ju
wound is more fresh than the other, and the comparison doesn't feel
I know.
it just
I know,
doesn't
and then I'm also
feel
like,
valid. I don't know.
right, and anywho, okay, I digress. Moore doesn't really believe Reese about how he would have reacted to Amarantha showing up. I don't either. That's
Mm-mm.
a long way of saying that. Um, Tensions are high, to say the least, and Amren steps in, and she's like, "Everyone, calm down, please. Working with Kier and Eris is not forgiving them. Plus, when the war's over, if you want, I'll kill them for you, okay?" Amren says she won't allow Kier to poison Valaris. And I was like, okay, finally, something I believe.
Mhm.
Thank you, Amren. Moore is crying. Reese looks devastated, per Feyre. She's telling us that. She says, I slid my hand through his. And she says it through the bond. I see you, I said, giving him the words I'd once whispered all those months ago. And it does not frighten me. Sure, it doesn't frighten you, but it should piss you off.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right. Aaron turns on Reese and she's like, that was fucked up, by the way. And you don't really have an excuse. You should have warned more. Yes. Reese apologizes again. Whatever. And Farrah's like, guys, we have to stick together. Okay. Let's talk about the mirror now. Oh, forgot Amren was here. She's like, the Ouroboros? Are you fucking crazy? Uh, the truth will out. So they finally come clean. Feyre and Cassian visited the Bone Carver at the prison, and they plan to unleash him. A one-monster army, if you will. Again, still don't understand why the Bone Carver's your pick. Thought you were going to try to recruit the other monsters that the book woke up.
Maybe he's the most sane or controllable, or they trust him the most. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
But
don't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
interesting choice so far. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, Amren's like, well, you can't do that. It's impossible. How did you escape, Amren? Do you want to regale us? No, she doesn't want to do that. Reese pulls the I'm your boss card. And also, if Amren cooperates, Reese will let her use the book to go home if she wants. I'm also like, Amren gets to
Didn't
read
he
the
already?
yeah, he already did that. And also,
Didn't he
Amren
already?
reads the book.
Yeah.
How are you gonna stop her if she
Right.
wants to
Yeah.
read the book
If
and
she
send
figures it
herself
out.
out?
Yeah.
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 Amren doesn't want to tell this story, quote, because the stone beneath this house has ears. The wind has ears, all of it listening. And if it reports back, they will remember, Rhysand, that they have not caught me, and I will not let them put me in that black pit again. Farrah's like, it's cool. I know how to make a windshield. Now spill.
But a windshield is all that it took. Just need to get a little air bubble to
No one
control
ever
the
thought about that before.
right. And then I was like, especially because it does seem like there are some general barriers that any Fae seem to be able to create. So I just thought that this was a very, I don't know, it just was a funny
I
like
know.
thing that she's like, all right, let me put this shield
Yeah.
up now. Now tell us the
Right.
story. Yeah.
So basically, Amren had to bind herself into the body she's currently in, and the prison stopped being able to recognize her. Amren made herself mortal compared to what she was before. I mean, she still can live for a very long time, but in Amren's original form, she didn't have the same range of emotions. She did not regret, mourn, or experience pain. But she was too curious and questioning, and that's how she ended up here. There was a rip in the sky, and she went into it. Amren yielded her grace and her perfect immortality to escape the prison. She refers to doing this as falling, and I was like, huh, what does that sound like? A fallen angel? But, but is that...
You gotta read Crescent City.
Okay, it's on my list.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so... Oh, okay. So I guess we'll find out more about that. So, and yeah, it was bad in the prison. It was so bad. She chose to do that. She was like Gollum. She hadn't felt the wind or smelled the rain in so long. She couldn't remember sunlight. Azrael gets it. So yeah, after Amren bound herself into her current body, the prison door just unlocked. I'm sure this process was difficult, and maybe not every monster could do this, but seems like a huge oversight.
Right. Like if it's warded or keyed only specifically to that being, but that being can transform themselves, that doesn't seem like it's much of a...
What?
Yeah.
So if they want to free the Carver, they'll have to bind him into a body, make him Fae. And then will he even be useful at that point if he's bound in a body? I'm guessing it'll be like having another Amren, which, great, but she's not turning the tide of war alone. So...
And she also just mentioned that she had to sacrifice things to be able to bind herself in her Fae form. Who's to say that he's going to be willing to do that as well?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. All of that. And then again, she's like, I don't know how much less powerful, but much less powerful than she was in her original form.
Correct. Yeah. So then if he does that, like, what is he going to lose? It's unknown what could potentially happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, why would he if he wants to stay in the prison? All this stuff.
Right.
Rhys wants to know if Amren can be unbound and what would happen. And Amren says she wouldn't remember them and she wouldn't have the same feelings anymore or care about them, etc. Nesta asks what Amren was. Amren says, a messenger and soldier assassin for a wrathful god who ruled a young world. Amren is an angel from the Old Testament. Fight me!
Okay.
Okay.
I know.
I guess I'll get my answers someday. Also, her name wasn't Amren before she was in this body, but she can't remember what it was originally. My guess is Lucifer. Suddenly, Elain stumbles into the room. She's like, oh, I didn't know anyone was down here because of Feyre's awesome windshield. And honestly, that does make me think the wind and stone or whatever really couldn't hear that conversation because we know how good Elaine's hearing is right now. She can hear all the way to the sea. Elain was sleeping and heard something, but she thinks she was dreaming. Elain thinks she's always dreaming these days. And then Elain says some stuff. Quote, I can hear her crying. Everyone thinks she's dead, but she's not, only different, changed, as I was. I saw young hands wither with age. I saw a box of black stone. I saw a feather of fire land on snow and melt it. So is she hearing one of the queens?
You're so clever. You're so clever.
God, I'm so smart. Yeah. Feyre's like, oh my God, Elain has gone insane. Get out the padded room. And then Elain says, quote, it was angry. It was so angry that something was taken. So it took something from them as punishment. The cauldron was angry, so it took something from the queens. That's my thesis. I mean, what else could it be? No one says anything. Feyre can't even think of words. She's just like spiraling about Elain being crazy. And I'm like, it feels so obvious that she's prescient. And like, you've all been alive collectively for over what, like 12,000 years? Not one of you has heard of a seer. Is this a joke?
Yeah. And I was like, first, every time I'm trying to think of excuses. Like, did they think that that wouldn't be possible? Like, maybe they didn't think that the powers that they would gain or that they would gain any, powers from the cauldron or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like they're also have been kind of talking about waiting for their powers to manifest if they have any. This sounds like it could be a power of Elain's.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
My God.
Doesn't take that much to put those two and two together, but
Yeah. Right. Everyone's, and just the fact that they're like, she's clearly gone insane, and not even like, maybe she's telling us some. Everyone kind of goes their separate ways, and Feyre asks Nesta about her time in the Hewn City. Amren took Nesta to a room of magical objects, and Nesta was just supposed to find weaknesses and practice. But she failed, and she's upset about it. And Feyre, instead of being like, hey, don't worry, I failed at convincing the queens to help us, and I put the book back together when I wasn't supposed to, and I failed at nullifying the cauldron, and I failed at keeping you and Elain safe, and I scarfed down a Faebane apple like a dummy. Feyre says nothing. She's like, there's nothing I could possibly say to make her feel better right now. So she changes the subject and says they need to do something about Elain. And Nesta's like, oh, are you going to let Rhys in and scramble her brains? Honestly, though, why doesn't someone look into her head? Maybe she would let you if you asked her nicely and you got permission.
Yeah.
So anyway, they just keep having this conversation about what they should do and about how Elain is clearly cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And then Lucian shows up and asks if he can help and says they should have a healer look at Elain. So they agree to have one come the next morning. Feyre goes upstairs and cries herself to sleep. She's like, I don't know why I'm crying. You don't know why you're crying? Let me count the ways. There's so many reasons to be crying right now.
In the top two would maybe be betraying two of your friends, Lucian and Moore.
The guilt that's eating you from the inside.
Gee.
Oh my God. So Rhys wakes Feyre up a little bit later. They're both just feeling like shit. Rhys is feeling guilty, as he should. He's like, I should have found another way. No, you should have just told Moore and had her in on your plans. Same with Amren and going to the prison. I still, how are they not involved in every decision? It's like, isn't the inner circle Rhysand's advisors? Like, isn't that the point of them?
Exactly. And it's like, you guys, when are Rhys and Feyre going to figure out that taking on the brunt of the problems or trying to fix it and solve it themselves, however you want to look at it, is somehow not seeing that they're actually ultimately making things worse?
Yeah, always.
Yes. And it's like, we've talked about this before. One of the reasons that Rhys and Feyre are so perfect for each other is because they do self-sacrifice. And no one else is allowed to be a martyr but them. So
right.
I think that it's just, and it's like, when I kind of joked earlier that Rhys has all these plans and they backfire, it's usually because he's not letting other people in on his schemes. When he is successful, it's when other people know what's going on.
Yeah. Weird.
Weird.
And then Rhys admits to Feyre that if Amarantha showed up, he would kill her immediately. He wouldn't even let her speak. Rules for thee, never for me. Rhys tells Feyre he wants to take all of this upon himself because of things like this. Seeing Moore cry was too much. You made her cry, you piece of shit.
And it could have been avoided very easily.
I mean, you've been alive for 500 years.
Also, you haven't learned yet that springing pretty damaging information on other people is that it makes them upset, okay?
Right.
They're not gonna have a positive reaction to it.
Yeah. Remember when you didn't tell Feyre she was your mate?
You haven't learned from that yet? Come on.
Like if that was the only other situation, that should have been enough.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So Rhys and Feyre just hold each other. Whatever. I'm over it. And they both agree they're not ready to look into the Ouroboros yet. So the next morning, Feyre trains with Cassian. She practices landing on top of the House of Wind with her wings. She comes in too fast, crashes into the wall. She deserved it. Cassian is an emotionally intelligent dude, so he asks Feyre how hard she wants to train. Feyre says she wants to limp out of here. Cassian's like, say less. I also like to cope with stress through physical exertion. So they train. Cut to Feyre training with Azriel. He's kind of pissy because he hasn't spoken to Moore, and Feyre's too scared to tell him he made the right call, and maybe he should talk to Moore. But did he make the right call, though? It's Feyre's mental gymnastics blowing me away.
I think that kind of the same, like the outcome I think would have been the same. I just don't understand why either Rhys or Azriel didn't mention to Moore what was going to happen, or like you said, like what was the point of Moore even being at that meeting? Is it only because she's kind of like the ambassador for both the Hewn City and Valaris, so she's kind of in all of these meetings in
Right.
general? And I also just have to say this, for all of these inner circle people to be besties and advisors and all that kind of stuff, their communication skills seem really bad through this whole part.
Seriously. I guess
Yeah,
most of the time they're just like chilling, but now
right.
that something serious is happening, they're just not
Eh,
ready for it.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I just will never get over this. Like, and two, it would be one thing, I guess, if she didn't go and you kept it a secret
Mhm.
from her and then like find out later.
Right.
Still bad. But like the fact that she was there and blindsided by it too. Like
Mhm.
what a look for
Yes.
like to show that in front of Kier. Like we're on a united front. Like we're actually
Yeah.
surprising more, and maybe this is a way for you to exploit us in some fashion. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, Moore didn't even want to come to rescue Feyre because Eris was
Yeah.
there. Like,
Ugh.
like only
Right, right.
Azriel and Cassian showed up for that. So yeah, it's just not fully making sense. So
Mhm. Jeez. Feyre gets back to the townhouse, and what do you know? Moore is there. So the High Lords of Day, Dawn, and Winter saying they'll attend the upcoming meeting. Nothing from the rest of the seasonal courts yet. Because Winter is a seasonal court as well.
Mhm.
Feyre wants to talk about yesterday, and Moore tries to avoid it. I feel you, Moore. Let's not beat a dead horse. It's over, right? Feyre tells Moore she's allowed to feel her feelings, basically, but that won't help them win any wars, Moore tells her. Moore says she understands why Rhys did what he did. The two of them talked that morning. Even Moore would have made the same deal with Eris to keep Baron from hunting Feyre. And Moore is still more upset about her father. She says, my father knew. The second he heard of this place, he probably knew what it meant to me. There would have been no other asking price for my father's help in this war. None. Rhys knew that as well. Tried to bring Eris into it to sweeten the deal for my father, to possibly avoid this outcome with Valaris altogether. Well, would you look at that? Moore isn't jazzed about, but she accepts all of this and what had to be done. It's almost like you could have had this fucking conversation with her before you went to the court of nightmare.
Exactly. Yeah.
Moore then makes a comment about Azriel and how she doesn't know why she expected Az to be to side with her and why it caught her so off guard. Like, but he does still side with you? I mean, he clearly hates Eris, or he was like mad at him in the meeting, but he, everyone say it together, had no other choice.
And I don't know that it doesn't seem like he didn't side against, or he didn't side with her necessarily. It wasn't like he was against her. He didn't
Right.
maybe fully have her back, or, he didn't have her best intentions in mind with not telling her, but it wasn't like he,
Mhm.
doesn't he still
Right.
hates Eris. He still, is very aggressive towards him, in
Yeah.
when they're in person together. It's not like he's forgiven him. So, yeah.
I know. I was kind of waiting for him to say, like, I couldn't tell you because Rhys told me not to tell you.
Right.
Like, that's
Mhm.
kind of what I was expecting. Like, he had
Yeah.
orders.
Right. Because that would have made sense. And
Right. I
then
mean,
eh,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
And then maybe Moore would not be mad at him also, because she
Yeah.
would
Right. Right.
understand.
It's just
Yeah.
It's Reese's fault. Everything's Reese's fault.
Yeah.
Enough of this pity party. All these douchebags win if Moore lets it get to her. War is the worst. Brings out the worst in people, and everyone has to make horrible decisions. And then there's a knock at the door, saved by the healer. Except she finds nothing during her examination of Elain. Nesta and Feyre just like they simply can't believe this. Clearly, Elain is damaged.
Clearly something's wrong with her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the healer, her name is Maja,
Mhm.
Mahjong. Just kidding.
That's
Maja.
what I called her in my head. So yes, Mahjong is fine.
Yeah. She's a very experienced, very wise, very old. That she looks old is interesting to me.
Because you don't hear about any Fae looking
Y-
old.
yeah, yeah.
Like
And
wrinkly skin, wispy hair. Like,
right. I'm like, oh, so Faye actually age eventually? God, how old is
mhm,
Mahjong?
right?
Um,
Yeah.
but her exam found nothing wrong with Elaine's body, and Maja cannot enter Elaine's mind since Elaine is cauldron made. She also warns Feyre not to try to go poking around in there. Maja, like me, wants Nesta to stop saying something is wrong with Elaine. She goes, I do not like that word. Wrong, different, perhaps, changed. Right. Why don't you
Hmm.
just think this is her gift and try to understand it?
Exactly.
Maja suggests Lucian try to help. The mating bond is a bridge between souls, so if anyone can help, it would be Lucian. Plus, Lucian is a nice boy. It's not like he's a dick or anything. Like, Rhys was around Feyre for months and was able to control himself, even though he knew they were mates. Like, can we just give Lucian a little credit? Please.
No. And not only that, but like Lucian and Feyre were just getting back to being friends. And I mentioned this already too, but I would argue Feyre knows Lucian better than she does Asriel or Cassian.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at least we've seen a little bit more. I feel like, especially like Asriel is very secretive. Obviously, that's what he
Right.
deals in. He's a spy master. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Um, but just for her to just still be so against Lucian being Elaine's mate is just it makes
Right.
me sad for him. Like, why doesn't he
Yeah.
like I don't know that I really want them to end up together either. But I also
Right.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like right. I mean, I know we're all gonna protect Elaine or whatever, but it's
Mhm.
like, it's nice for her. She has somebody to take care of her and wanna
Mhm.
like, I don't know. I know she's sad,
Yeah.
but, like, I also know her human fiance was, like, a dick probably, so
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but yeah, Nesta's like, "Fuck that. Call another healer." Clearly she's damaged, but Feyre overrules her, and Lucian gets a turn. Okay, things are awkward around here. Lucian and Elaine are just sitting in silence. Oh, I also love that Lucian's like, "Okay, let me go freshen up." He, like, gets
Yeah.
ready to, like, sit with Elaine.
I know, it's so cute.
Cute.
I
Okay.
know.
But yeah, Lucian and Elaine are just sitting in silence, and more Feyre and Nesta are pretending like they're not watching, like hawks. Uh,
Right.
Meanwhile, Amren, I think they're like sitting in the same room too, just being like, "What's
Or, like,
happening?"
around the corner, there's, like, a table,
Yeah,
like, far in the corner that they're sitting at or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's hilarious.
so funny. Meanwhile, Amren's trying to train Nesta how to sense walls and find holes in them. At the same time, this is all going on, and she keeps getting annoyed that Nesta is distracted. Feyre can't hear, see, or feel any of Nesta's power, and neither Amren or Nesta offer any explanation about what they're trying to coax from Nesta. And this is another example, it literally happens every time, of Feyre being like jealous or seeming not happy that Nesta's getting trained and she doesn't understand what's going on and like Feyre can't do it herself. Um,
It feels very much like a "they were my friends first" kind of
right.
scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
She says
Yeah.
earlier too, at some point, it was just like, maybe it was a mistake to let Amren and Nesta train together. It's like, Feyre, get over yourself. You don't
Hmm.
have to be the center of attention all the time. Feyre sees Rhys and Cassian walking up to the townhouse. They were meeting with Kyr's Darkbringer army commanders, and she tells them through the bond not to come in. She says Lucian is trying to sense what's wrong with Elaine. Okay, can we use some disability language here? You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with Elaine. There's a little bit of back and forth, and Rhys and Cassian say they'll come back later. They're like, yeah, we're not. Feyre gives two vulgar gestures during this exchange, which just feels excessive. I can't even tell you how infrequently I flick people off, and they're just like doing it constantly to each other. I just like the vulgar gestures. Yeah, right. Like,
I know. Well, and I think it was funny too because I think in this scene, she like first gives Reese the rude gesture, and then Moore is like sitting next to her and like picks up or like looks out the window and
yeah,
sees that Reese is coming up. So she just copies Feyre, whatever Feyre did. She's like, yeah,
right.
yeah, fuck you too. Like basically,
Yeah, so
yeah.
funny. So Feyre also tells Rhys through the bond about the courts who replied, and Rhys says he received word from Cressida that Tarquin is contemplating attending. I would expect Feyre to have some snarky comment about Cressida, but she does not.
I know. I was
Like-
really waiting for that to come in and be like, oh, so you heard from Cressida.
Right,
Of course you did. Yeah.
I know. And why is he talking to Cressida about Tarquin?
Yeah. Odd.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, Elain shoots up and Lucien starts apologizing to her. Lucien tugged down their mating bond and it freaked Elain out. So Nesta rushes in. She's ready to fight. I was like, can we just chill? Like, nothing is actually hurting Elain. She just stood up and was like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Elain says it felt like Lucien pulled on a string tied to her rib. And Elain then says, twin ravens are coming, one white and one black. Just let's remember that.
Hold that right
just
there.
remember Elain said that. Whoops, still crazy, I guess. And Nesta leads Elain out to the sunshine. Lucien seems surprised, or he's kind of shocked that there's a real bond and he felt it. He felt Elain, but there wasn't time to find anything. Womp womp. Lucien notices the High Lord responses on the table, and he asks for a map to help come up with meeting location ideas. It'll be a challenge because everyone has opinions.
I have one quick comment. I can't imagine what would happen if poor Elain got a paper cut in Nesta's presence. I would hate to be that piece of paper. Second, there is a important observation by Feyre in this scene. I just would like to point it out. She says, quote, Lucien's skin was a darker, deep golden brown compared to the paleness of Eris's coloring. Let's just keep that in our back pocket, folks. Okie dokie.
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you for adding that. I did not pick up on that. Cut. We cut to Feyre and Azriel.
Yeah.
They're having a flying lesson. Feyre keeps running into trees. Well, flying into trees. Azriel seems to be feeling better. He and Mor have kind of made up. Feyre is also getting to know Azriel a little better, spending one-on-one time with him. Turns out he's kind of funny. This goes back to us, like, she didn't really know Azriel. He doesn't talk. He's a tight-lipped he's a little clam.
Yeah.
It's been a couple days since the Lucien Elain moment, and Feyre has spent a lot of time in the library trying to figure out how to repair the wall, researching about the Ouroboros. Apparently, no one has been able to master it except for the Weaver in the wood, but maybe her beloved mirror is what made her crazy. Or the Weaver's evilness tainted it. She spied on the world with it and used it to hunt down beautiful young maidens to keep her eternally young. Mother Gothel.
I know. All right.
Right. We're just like mixing so many stories and like little pieces of lore
from across the world in this. Yeah.
Yep. Also, the fact that Kyr's family has had the Ouroboros for millennia suggests no one has been able to take it. And I was like, let Nesta look into it. I bet she'd be fine. She's not gonna let some stupid fucking mirror rob her of her sanity. Thank you. Or
Agreed.
let Elain look into it. She's already crazy.
I know, what's the worst that could happen?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe she'll uncrazy. Maybe it'll be the opposite effect.
Yeah. All that to say, Feyre is trying to come up with a plan B to convince the Bone Carver to assist them. Okay, back to flying lessons. There's a lot of technical talk. Who fucking cares how flying works? Not me, but Feyre is scared to jump off the ledge because she doesn't want to get hurt again. And Azriel won't push her because, she has to get over her mental blocks and stuff. So Feyre does jump. And I'm including this because she says, my lower half began to drop. My legs a dead weight as my core yielded. And I was like, so does that mean they fly parallel to the ground? The core strength for that. Are you crazy? Also, why the fuck are they flying in a giant open field instead of a pine forest? I know time is of the essence, but like master the very basics first before you have to like dodge trees and stuff. Trial by fire.
I know this is poor planning on your guys' part. And then I was like, maybe Azriel is a sadist. I don't know. Maybe he wants you to be slamming into trees. And it made me think of from Dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Like if you can fly through these trees, you can fly through anything.
You can be part of the Legion. Yeah, totally.
Yep.
So then Feyre runs into another tree and she's like, there's no way I'll be able to find the legions, is there? No, of course not, you dumb idiot.
There's no way.
Yeah, not a chance. Azrael's
No.
like, ooh, probably not. But keep practicing. You never know. And then Azrael tells Feyre it was very difficult for him to learn how to fly. He had a fear of flying because he was so old when he started to learn. It was embarrassing for Azrael and for the entire war camp. But Azrael would sneak off and practice by himself, and Cassian and Rhys found him. And after beating Azrael up and making fun of him first, they helped him learn. Wow, so nice. I mean, it is nice,
Beat him
but
up and then yeah,
boys are
boys.
weird. Then, a few years after the war, Rhys secretly went to visit Miriam and Draken in their new home and brought Azrael back a special story as a gift. Azrael didn't know Rhys was going to visit Miriam and Draken, but he did know their people hadn't drowned in the sea like they wanted everyone to believe. Miriam freed her people from the Queen of the Black Land and led all 50,000 of them across the desert to the shores of the Erythraean Sea. I'm going to just say it like that. All of the ships they were supposed to meet there and take them across the channel had been destroyed, and they were being pursued, with Draken's aerial legion providing cover. Draken is a seraphim, and they have feathered angel wings instead of devil bat wings.
It's really freaking important.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Also, in juxtaposition to the Illyrians, the seraphim allow women to lead, fight, and rule. All seraphim are gifted with wind and air magic. So the seraphim realize at this point that their force was too small to match the queen, so they parted the sea and made a path through the water for the humans. Huh. Feel like I've heard this story before. Can't put my finger on it. Okay, but for real, Erythraean is spelled differently in the book, but the real word, Erythraean, refers to the ancient Greek geographical designation for a vast maritime region that included the modern-day Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, Persian Gulf, and parts of the Indian Ocean. The term derives from the Greek word erythros, meaning red. Sarah, what are we doing?
Were they parting the Red Sea?
Oh, yeah. She was like, Stephanie Myers, I see your Mormon story and I raise you Exodus.
Yeah.
So, Miriam, of course, has to be the last one to cross. It's taking a long time for those stupid, dumb, slow humans to get across. And it turns out parting a sea is a lot of work. So the seraphim are getting tired. They were battling the queen's forces on the seafloor. Things are chaotic. No one noticed. Miriam gets skewered. And Draken thought Miriam made it out. So he ordered the parted sea to come down to drown the Egyptian forces. Just kidding. The enemy forces. As one does, that is actually the only way to win a parted sea battle like that. You have to let the water come down, wash away the opposing force.
Yes.
But a young seraphim cartographer named Nefel saw Miriam go down, and she was able to get to Miriam in time. Nefel was a cartographer because she'd been rejected from the fighting ranks. She had small wings, and the right one was slightly deformed. She was also small, so she'd leave a gap in the line. She could barely hold a shield up, and with her small wings, it was difficult for her to keep up with the others. This reminded me of 300, when that one dude wants to be part of the phalanx or whatever, and he can't hold his shield up.
Yes. Yeah.
But being a cartographer, Nefel was useful and able to find geographical advantages for battles, and she was BFFs with Miriam. So Nefel found Miriam bleeding out on the seafloor as the wall of water was starting to come down, and she flew Miriam out. Quote, Nefel, who had never been strong enough to hold a seraphim shield, carried Miriam. Triple the weight, and more than that, she flew. The sea was crashing down upon them, but Nefel flew like the best of the seraphim warriors. Adrenaline, baby!
I was like, moms lifting cars off their babies and stuff. This is exactly what happened. Yeah.
100%. And with Nefel's wings being smaller, she could fit through the narrow gaps and all that stuff on the seafloor. Miriam is alive today because of Nefel. Azrael says ever since then, Rhys, Cassian, and Azrael have adapted the Nefel philosophy with their armies. Quote, what we think to be our greatest weakness can sometimes be our biggest strength, and that the most unlikely person can alter the course of history. Huh! I wonder if someone super unlikely is going to turn the tide of the war later. It's just,
I don't know.
Who is it going to be?
Yep. Just a thought.
So basically, this story and this philosophy is why Azrael will continue to train Feyre until the last possible day. You never know what may make a difference. Feyre, she's inspired. She's ready to try flying again. Later that night, Feyre limps into her and Rhys's bedroom. Feyre still has her wings out to let the muscles reform around them or whatever. She gets into the bath. Then, yeah, right. Like,
I don't know what that was about.
magic. Like, okay. Then Rhys gives her a massage and she gets out when she gets out of the bath and they end up doing it. Well, they do stuff. Rhys does stuff to Feyre. Because how else is a massage supposed to end?
Right.
But yeah, Rhys is like touching Feyre's wings and stuff. I hate it. Anyway, the
I
takeaway
knew
from
you
this.
would. I was reading that. I was just
Like,
like, oh, Kirsten's gonna. Nope.
Yeah, the takeaway from this is Rhys and Feyre are very in love and they're attracted to each other. Blah blah blah. So the next morning, Feyre takes a break from training, and she and Nesta are going to go to the library in the House of Wind to continue looking for the ways to fix the wall. Lucian is also researching, but he's at the library across the city. He seemed to be itching to head into the city on his own. Quote, "Why am I suspicious of everyone always? Lucian better be doing what he says he's doing."
I know. He better be. And what's funny about this, I know time is of the essence, but I'm a little disappointed that Feyre did not show him
Yeah,
around. I
right.
mean, yeah,
Yeah, you
it's,
can't go for a walk.
I know. You guys have got time to go for a walk, don't you? Anyway, yeah.
Totally. Azrael and Cassian are at the townhouse, so Cassian can take Nesta up to the House of Wind, and Feyre will winnow since she's too sore to fly. A few things. I guess Feyre isn't powerful or strong enough to winnow Nesta. I mean that. So I was like, can't she just winnow Nesta? You're gonna do that? 'Cause she's winnowed people before, right? Okay, but maybe it doesn't matter. Just an excuse for Cassian to carry Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if the library's at the bottom of the House of the Wind Mountain, why are you flying all the way up to the top? What level do you actually get into the library on? I would like to know that. Give me a map of the House of Wind. Now.
So when you put this in there, I was like trying to think back. I'm like, and I couldn't figure out because it's not like explicitly stated. Feyre probably can winnow Nesta, but you cannot winnow directly onto the balcony or the
Mm,
veranda of the House of Wind. So
okay.
Feyre has to winnow to like the ward barrier and then fly the rest of the way. Which that's why
Okay.
she keeps crashing because she hits like the barrier and she
That's why she's
stops.
doing it.
And
Okay.
then yes, but it's a funny thing to me because this is what I'm imagining. I'm
Yeah.
imagining this person popping up out of thin air with wings on and then trying to fly and
Right.
just splat.
Yeah. Yeah. Embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I forgot about the winnowing piece. Yes. Okay. But the sisters are all having breakfast. Okay, so yeah, everyone's together in the townhouse. And Elain turns to Cassian and says, "He snapped your wings, broke your bones." Cassian tries to shrug this off. He's like, "It'll take more than that to kill me." And Elain replies, "No, it will not." Which, that was funny. And also, like, she's not wrong. It's disturbing. So it's like a lot of just like a weird, an interesting sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Comment.
Um, and it's like I was at first disturbed because like she clearly knows things. But then I was like, oh wait, she was actually there. She saw him do that. So it seems like this is the first time where maybe she's like talking to somebody about something that like a shared experience that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everyone's still like, oh my God, she's so messed up.
Crazy. She's losing it. And this is what's so annoying to me is like this is everything that she's talking about and that she's like randomly saying that are all these quote unquote crazy things is so obviously seer signs. Like how do they
Right.
not recognize this? Like are seers super rare? Like I truly can't remember in this series if they are extremely rare. So like if they just didn't
Yeah.
think that that is at all a possibility for her to be like that's not the conclusion that
Mm-hmm.
they could come to. But I mean,
I
it seems
know.
pretty obvious to us that that's what's going on with her. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. We've never heard of a seer, but we've also not heard about all the other powers that we know people
Mhm.
have that we just like aren't privy to yet. Like
Yes,
we haven't learned about.
exactly.
So Azrael takes Elaine outside to the garden. And Cassian and Nesta, they're having like banter and more. It's not really like charged moments yet, but Nesta's watching Cassian, Cassian's watching Nesta, like et cetera, et cetera. Like maybe Nesta's starting to warm up to Cassian, but also acting like that's definitely not happening. So, uh, you know, Nesta and Feyre enter the library, and Feyre asks Nesta how she knows what to look for in regard to the wall. And Nesta says, because I just do. Amren told me to just see if the information clicks. What do you know? Super vague directions, just like every other piece of magic that's happened, or every skill learned. And Feyre should understand exactly what Nesta means, because that's how she does all of her magic ever. She's like, I just do it.
I just will it into being. And it
Yeah.
happens because I thought it. And it
Right.
just happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I knew you'd include this part. So thank you.
Yes. So Feyre wants to ask Nesta if she's all right, but Nesta and Feyre aren't close. Feyre doesn't know how to even broach that subject. And so they just go looking for some books Reese told Feyre about. And as they're descending, Nesta tells Feyre she didn't know Feyre couldn't read. Nesta always assumed Feyre could read and wants to know why Feyre never asked Nesta or Elain to help her learn. And Feyre just assumed they wouldn't agree to help her. Nesta's clearly offended. And I was like, yeah, I mean, why would you assume that? Feyre, she's always assuming the worst of people. Seems like she truly never gave Nesta a chance, even as an 8-year-old. You were 8 years old, and you assumed your sister would not help you. I don't know. I don't know when Nesta started being super mean to Feyre, but, like, maybe Feyre started it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
assuming that, and yeah.
I know, it's just it does, because we've talked about this too. Feyre is an unreliable narrator. So we think that Nesta is really mean and always has been really mean, and we do see glimpses of it. It's not like she's the kindest. She does not treat others. She's not friendly or warm. That doesn't necessarily mean she's like the worst person ever. But
Yeah.
it's just very interesting. It's like, how broken were you guys after your mom's death that, like, because I'm thinking of 8-year-old kids, their filter is not there. They don't think that far in depth of, like, oh, my sibling is not going to help me, unless they've been made to believe that there's a good chance that their sibling is actually not going to help them because of past things. So I can, like, kind of see, like, it's like, because we only really see Nesta be nice to Elain. So I kind of, like, can see where Feyre is coming from, but if she never asked, she just assumed, like you said, she just assumed that Nesta would
Right.
help her. So it's like, are you both mad at each other for neither of you trying? That's kind of almost what it feels like.
Right. They both just have an antagonistic relation. Like, I feel like Nesta is just, like, short and blunt.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I've seen something about, like, how even in the very beginning, like, chapters of A Court of Thorns and Roses, like, Nesta doesn't say anything super mean until Feyre says something. Like, she starts it every time. Like, Nesta's mean responses are always in, like, retaliation to something Feyre said.
Well, it's like, because I was trying to think about that too. Like, the very first scene that we see Nesta, like, we're from Feyre's point of view. She's been out hunting all day. She's freezing cold. She drug this deer back to their house with her. And she comes back and none of the chores have been done. And she asks Nesta why she didn't chop wood. And Nesta did basically say, you're better at it and I didn't want to do it. So after you clean up this filthy deer, go chop the wood. Like,
Right.
but then it's like,
But then she did chop it the next day.
Yeah. So it's, I know. So it's like, are we just getting Feyre's point of view on everything, that all of their interactions? And so the snarkiness is just a lifetime of them both bickering with each other, and they just don't know how to talk to each other anymore. I don't know.
I don't know. But I mean, Nessa said earlier too, when she was like, why do I need to, like, learn how to train so I can kill my enemies if someone else is going to do it for me? She's, like, pragmatic.
Yeah.
She's like, maybe Feyre just chop the wood. I don't need to do it. Yeah, and also, like, why wouldn't Elain help?
Right.
Feyre doesn't have a great relationship with Elain either, but, like, Elaine's nice.
I know, and that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like, it doesn't seem like there was a ton of effort between Nesta or Feyre for them to get along, but Elain did seem to. I mean, Elain bought Nesta paints when they were poor. Like, it seemed like she tried.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think Feyre I think Feyre doesn't like Nesta. And she thinks Elain is dumb or something, and so she's just like, she probably just has let that resentment build up, and she
Mhm.
assumes
Yeah.
they don't like her because she doesn't like them, but they're actually
Mhm.
like, "That's cool." Also, it feels like an interesting narrator to me because I don't trust her, and, like, we're in her head, but we definitely don't get all of her actual real thoughts. It's like
Mhm.
we're
Right.
getting her, like, filtered version, and there are things that, I don't know, maybe she doesn't realize, and, like, so we're not getting it, or she's purposefully hiding
Omitting.
her
Yeah.
true feelings because, like, she's clearly
Mhm.
jealous of Nesta getting to train with Amren and, like,
Mhm.
having these powers,
Yeah.
and, like, that's not what's she's not, like,
Really
saying that
happening.
to
Yeah.
us. Yeah, exactly, but
Mhm.
anyway, then Feyre asks why Nesta pushes everyone except Elain away. She wants to ask why Nesta has always pushed her away specifically, but before Nesta can answer, damn it, she's, like, literally about to answer. They
Mhm.
feel something, a ripple and tremor, like some piece of the world shifted, like some off-kilter cord had been plucked. They look back the way they came, and the lights on the path start to go out. They both start running. Oh, what do you know? Feyre forgot she can winnow in the library. Why are you running? And Nesta is slow because of her dress and refusing to train. Ugh, Nesta! So Farrah's trying to come up with a plan, and then she remembers finally she can winnow, but it's too late. Two high fae males step out of the darkness. One with dark hair and one with light hair. Oh my god. Remember when Elain was talking about the twin ravens earlier? I do.
I remember. I remember. Gee, this sounds familiar. Sounds like something like a seer would have seen.
Right, right. So these guys are from Hybern. What the fuck? How'd they get in here? And one of them blows Fey-Bane dust right into Feyre and Nesta's faces. It's just great. The Hybern dudes tricked the high priestesses into thinking they were scholars and they were going to look for Nesta, but how convenient. She came right to them. They introduced themselves as the King's Ravens. Put the pieces together, please, one of you. For the love of God.
Wait, and one of them was blonde or white hair, and one of them had black
Yes.
dark hair.
We
Oh,
fly
okay.
far and do the king's bidding, whatever. They say they've come to take Nesta. She took something from the cauldron and the king wants it back. Okay, so yeah, that's why the cauldron can't shatter the wall. Nesta has stolen too much of its power. Fuck, yeah, go, Nesta! Fuck up the cauldron!
Woo!
Yay!
And I just
The
have to say
end.
that at the end of this, I completely forgot this whole part happened in this book.
Oh, yeah. I
Totally
kind of
forgot
did
about it.
too, but yeah.
Yeah,
So what a cliffhanger.
I know. So sorry
I
that
was
you're
like,
gonna have
I
to
want to keep,
wait.
yeah.
I know.
What happens next? Stupid Hybern, God,
I
what are you
know.
doing in here? So yeah, Feyre is
Yeah.
freaking out about like how they get through the wards. Is the king in Valaris? Like, what's going on?
So you know what? Okay, so I've been thinking about this too. The wards, these two raven dudes from Hybern. They say that it was easy to get into the library once the wards were down, quote unquote. Or maybe they meant into Valaris and the
Mm,
library as well. Or
yeah, or I thought they said like it was easy to like trick the high priestesses or to like convince them
yes,
we were scholars once the king took down the wards or something.
yes. So my question is, so back in the spring court when Feyre was doing her spying stuff, she had set all of these like traps and triggers for if someone was
Mm,
moving about the manor. So my question is, how come the Fae that creates the wards, for example, for the city of Valaris, Reese, why does he not get some type of notification
I don't
that
know.
the wards got breached? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that should be a magical tingly sense that you get that something's wrong. Or is it just once the wards are, up and woven, there's no
Right.
tie to the person who cast them? Like,
I
it
know. Well,
was
that
kind of interesting to me
yeah,
that
the same with, like, when they attacked Valaris,
mhm, there
right?
was
Like, nobody
no
knew that
warning.
was yeah. And I mean, yeah, the King of Hybern is a weirdo. Like, how
Hmm.
if you're so strong and powerful, like, what's all this why are we doing all this stuff? Just achieve your
Right.
goals. Why are you doing all this subterfuge and XYZ?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But
I don't
now we know
know.
he needs that. Cauldron is broken.
Mhm.
Nesta broke it, and they need her to give whatever she took back. I don't know how
How
they
are you
plan to
gonna
do that.
achieve that? Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are you
You
gonna
gonna
do?
put her back in? let her
Right,
take
right.
some more from it?
Listen, just
I don't know.
stand there.
Yeah.
Reverse cauldron you. Um,
Reverse Uno. Or Uno
yeah,
reverse. Yeah.
yeah. Yes. So anyway, yeah, well, I hope Feyre and Nesta are okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Guess you'll have to listen in next
I
week
know,
to
I
see
can't
if
I
they
mean,
make it.
right. I was like, is this what are they gonna yeah, I don't know. They can't get taken. That would be cuckoo.
That'd be crazy pants.
They
Yeah.
better not get taken. I can't remember
Mhm.
how this ends. I'm sure it'll almost something or other, but if nobody fucking realizes that those ravens are who or who Elaine was talking about,
Yeah.
you catch these hands.
Mhm. Mhm.
Gonna be
Agreed.
mad.
Agreed. Yep.
Well, anyway. Okay, sorry that everyone has to wait for a
Yeah.
whole week before you find out what happens.
I know. I'm so sorry to our number one fan, me, that I have to wait to stuck to this for another week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, thanks for listening. If you listened,
Thanks,
join us next
guys.
time to see what
Mhm.
happens to Feyre and Nesta in the
Mhm.
library. Okay,
All right. Love
peace
you.
out. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.